What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is Tuesday, February 27th, and we are going to be talking all about the chess.com Invitational that just went down this past weekend in Florida. We have the MPO winner, Anthony Barela, joining the show. We also will be talking about the Disc Golf Network and the PDGA Live. How did it go first week? A lot of new stuff. Did it go well? Did it go bad? The good, the ugly? We have a interesting wild story of the week this week. We've got some EDWIN stats, which I'm very excited to share. I think one of the things he did at manscaped.com, embrace a new you and definitely embrace a new trimmer, courtesy of Manscaped. Thanks to our friends, Manscaped. Brodie is super choppy and lagging. Am I bad on your end, guys?
Not for me.
I feel like my internet's pretty good. Not sure exactly what's going on there. So okay. Apologies. Hopefully that gets figured out. So I'm sorry, but thanks to our friends over at Manscaped as always. Thank you. Uli, how's it going, brother?
It's good. Here in Arizona, man. Quick turnaround from chess.com.
Oh, snap.
Made it back over here, playing the Memorial this weekend, checking out some family, hanging out, so
no
always a fun
for
weekend.
You, huh?
No, this is one of my favorite. Yeah, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. Really, Memorial's always been one that I try not to miss.
Is it doing the same thing? Two rounds at Vista, 2 rounds at Fountain?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid A tier. I mean, obviously we've talked about it not being on tour, but I think it's still a really good A tier event.
Well, it's great because it's kind of like a throwback tournament, It's got the par 3 challenge, you got to go way low at Fountain. Vista is always pretty tough. Lots of OB, lots of mandatories, and the payout's always pretty good in the field stack. So
it's a nice one. Who's all there this week?
Shoot, Gannon's here, Isaac, Anthony,
Parker,
good players for sure.
Those Arizona guys.
Yeah, Parker, California crew.
Playing.
Yeah, Gooseman's definitely playing.
Yeah.
So it's a stacked field for sure.
That'll be a good one. Well, I am back in Dallas. I got back. I actually was able to get on an early flight. It's never a good thing when you're able to, normally I get my flights for like Monday morning. So it's never good when I'm changing my flight from Monday morning to Sunday. But unfortunately, I was able to do that. So, I mean, the positive was I was able to see Kelsey earlier. She's doing good. She actually just had a little surgery. So she will be back to 100% hopefully in a few days. So I'm just kind of home right now, kind of taking care of the house, taking care of the corgis, making sure everything is running smoothly. But yeah. Back here for a few days, and then we've got Waco coming up, so I'll probably head down there on Monday. I would assume. We just posted our practice round, which normally we post that like Tuesday before the tournament, and we're now posting it Tuesday after the tournament. The Wi-Fi situation was not good. That would probably be one of the cons of that course, is it's out in the middle of nowhere, so it was very difficult to find fast internet. And so we got the video up today, unfortunately, but hopefully people are enjoying it. And just back in Dallas, man. It was 97 degrees, I think, yesterday or something here. It was awesome. It felt incredible.
Awesome?
Yes.
That's
I love
hot, dude.
I love hot.
I like hot, but I mean, 97 out of nowhere after being in like 60s is it's getting up there in the temperature.
To me, that's like going outside when it's snowing and rolling around in the snow and then jumping in a hot tub. It's just like
feels
going
good.
from that. Oh my God. It's one of the greatest feelings ever. All right. So we're going to have Anthony come on at 8:30. Before then, I figured, because I really want to discuss a lot of like the course and the turn. I want to do all that with him on here. So before, I figured we'd have some time to maybe talk a little bit about how our tournaments go. I have a lot to talk about on that. I don't know how much you have or how much you want to share, but I'll let you kind of go first on what went down at the chess.com Invitational for you this past weekend.
Yeah, I think mine was, I've had time to reflect on it a little bit for sure. I actually played really good, I felt like, and the wind kind of got you. Like I wasn't there long enough to really figure out
It
the
was very windy
distances.
on Friday.
Yeah, and
Very windy.
so I got like 2 practice rounds in, but they were in great conditions, and then the wind started, and like I said, I felt like I played really good. I caught a couple bad breaks early. My mental wasn't quite there, and my putt was just a little bit off. And that cost me, I mean, just a couple missed putt cost me like 4 shots because you miss out there and they roll away, and it's like this big deal. So I went from birdie to bogey a bunch of times. Second round came around, and I felt even better. And I felt like I played way better, but I popped, I was 5 over after 5 holes with like some pretty good shots. You know what I mean? So it was like this crazy, I was just behind the 8 ball like way early in that tournament, way over par, and got out of there. I battled the second round, got it back to even at one point, and then went like bogey, double bogey to finish. So it was close. You know, that flips right there, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm a couple under for the tournament, which isn't great. But it didn't. It went the opposite way. And so I went into the final round, felt great again, and a couple bad breaks here and there. I shot a 3 under par, which was respectable, but I didn't think that was really that good. Before the tournament started, I saw myself shooting 3 to 4 under a round, no problem, is what I was thinking. If I really clean things up, maybe have an even par in there or something. And it just didn't happen. A lot of things out there, if you are throwing, what I learned is if you're throwing the wrong speed into some greens, it can really bite you too. Like I was hitting greens, rolling away, just rolling off the greens because I was throwing too fast into there. But the ceilings forced my style of play to throw that so that I wouldn't pull it with a slower driver or have to throw harder down these tunnels. So I wanted to take some off, but then I'm landing on the greens and rolling away. I love the challenge out there. I felt like there was a couple holes that were really like sidearm friendly, like power sidearm friendly. They were almost too power sidearm friendly, like the 4 or the 530 down the hill to the right. Felt like that's a brainless hyzer for a lot of people, a lefty even. And for a backhand, it took, with the wind the way that it took like this highly perfected turnover down a hill, which I ended up getting it once, but that's beside the point. I felt like there was a bunch of holes kind of like that. Overall, I'm happy with the way that I played. The result was horrible, which sucks. But if I can clean up a few things, I feel like I'm not far off at all.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm in a little bit of a different. First off, I thought I was 37 years old. I'm actually, I think I was 38 and I'm 37, or did I think I was 37 and I'm 36? Hold on. Let me do the math real quick. No, yeah. I thought I was 37 and I'm 36. I'm turning 37 this year. Okay. So that's the first thing.
That's awesome though. You are younger than you thought.
There may be a chance I might be having a midlife crisis. I'm having my first ever midlife crisis. And let me kind of explain. So this happened at some point. I can't really like put my finger on when last season, but at some point last season, it really felt like I was just kind of going through the motions. And like I was going to practice because like that was a part of the routine. I was going to play tournaments because I have to go and try to get points to make it to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. It started feeling like I was just doing stuff because I had to. And that was like a major shift. And I was thinking maybe it was like, okay, maybe I'm just feeling this way because it has been a long season. You have played a lot of tournaments. And like, it's just kind of getting that monotonous over and over. And this off season, I really spent this off season spending time with Kelsey, spending time with my like family and going on trips and doing all that. And there wasn't that same fire, energy, passion that I had in previous years of like waking up and being like, I want to go putt, or I want to go to the field and practice, or I want to go to this course and see if I can beat my score. Or later in the night, after I've already practiced, you know, a couple hours that day, later in the night being like, I'm going to go out and putt for an hour. Like that wasn't there. And it was something I was trying to figure out. And then maybe I was like, okay, maybe if I just don't do anything, maybe that hunger, that fire will come back. And it didn't. It 100% did not. This tournament was, quite frankly, it was very boring.
Yeah.
And I'm at a portion in my life, and I got to this portion fairly quickly, of where there was a year or two after college of where like I sat down and I was like, I have to freaking grind, and I'm making no money, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. But then once I got to that point, I continued to work hard, but it didn't feel like work because I loved what I was doing. I loved going and filming 6 to 8 hours doing these trick shot videos. I loved going and playing in these tournaments. I loved going and running track workouts with my team. Everything with Ultimate, I never once in my Ultimate career felt unpassionate, not wanting to practice, not wanting to go to a tournament. Yeah, sure. Sometimes waking up early and doing a track workout, or waking up early and going to the gym. Yeah, sometimes I was like, oh man, I kind of wish I didn't want to do this. But then it always would snap out and be like, I have that goal, I have that team, I want to go. And every time going into a tournament, I was always looking forward to it. I was always excited to competing. This was the first time that I could not care less. I couldn't care less. And it was so hard. It was so difficult going out there. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter if I shot 10 under par or if I shot 10 over par. It didn't matter if I birdied a hole, I didn't birdie a hole. I legitimately just was not interested. I wasn't having fun. And I mean, I wrote on here that my favorite moment playing those 3 rounds was on hole 15. Tim Barham got one of his discs stuck in a tree, and I had to we started picking up rocks and trying to hit the disc out of the tree to get it come down. That was the most fun I had the entire week, was trying to hit this disc out of this tree. And so like I'm in this weird spot where I have never chased money, right? I've never made decisions in my life to try to make more money, because at the end of the day, I always wanted to do something that I was passionate about. And if I put my time and effort into something that I'm super passionate about, I will be successful in that. I will work myself in a way to become successful in that. And I think if you look at disc golf, I feel like I have done that already, right? I have seen some success, not as much as I wanted, obviously, but I have seen some success at tournaments. We have a very successful podcast. Foundation is extremely successful. Atlas is extremely successful. So there's parts of disc golf that I have found success in. I'm trying to figure out what is going on, because I honestly don't have an answer. I don't know what to do. And it's a weird one, because I've never had this issue before. I've never had an issue of where I haven't been dedicated, motivated, passionate to chase after a goal. And so it was a weird tournament. And I don't know if people could sense that when they're out there watching me, but you know, I ended up birdieing like hole 1 on round 2 and round 3. And it was just like, I would just pick the disc out of the basket and like start walking the whole. It was almost if I was just ready for it to be done. And the thing that's the weird, and I can't figure it out, is like this has never happened before. I've never had this happen before with anything. Normally it's always like some sort of injury, something is causing me not to continue to follow my passion. Like something is prohibiting me from doing that. And I don't know if I'm at the age now of where like leaving Kelsey all the time is tough or what, but like I legitimately just did not enjoy playing disc golf this past weekend. And it was a tough realization to have.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a classic case of burnout to me, honestly. I mean, it's pretty simple. We've all had those things. Like I've been playing for 17 years now, Brodie, and I've had months and months and months of feeling that way of like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. And just kind of going through the motions. But what it comes down to for me, and I can only speak for myself, is I've always had goals that I want to reach, and those goals come before everything for me, right? Like it doesn't matter if I set a goal, and I was taught this a long time ago. If I set an ultimate goal, then that's just what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to stop until I get that ultimate goal. That's the way that I work. Through that time, you're going to have burnout because waking up and practicing and all that stuff it sucks. Like you said, sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes it's great to get up and, oh yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that stuff. For me, what I found is the days where you don't want to do it, finding a way to get it done. Once you reach some of those goals makes it feel a lot better. So the burnout happens, and sometimes it's good to take a break. Dude, I've taken multiple times in my career, I've taken 3-4 months off of the main tour events and just been like, okay, I'm not going to California. I don't feel it. I can't do it.
See, that's why I thought I did this off season though.
See,
I probably played disc golf. I probably threw or putted disc golf for less than like 8 hours this off season.
That's not the same thing, Brodie. What I'm saying is you take time off of playing tournaments and you watch other people playing the tournaments, it'll get you back to being motivated. You're going to see them playing, you're going to watch them competing, and you're going to either want to go back or you're not. And once you don't want to go compete against those guys, when you see them out there and you see the courses that you've played good at before and you're sitting at home, eventually you're going to be like, no, I missed the competition. I want to do that. Or you find something else. Like that's always a thing as well.
Yeah. David just made a comment. And I think this is where if you have followed me from the very beginning, if you have followed me from my ultimate career, my trick shots, if you follow me from the very beginning, you will know that I literally do stuff because I love doing it. And David just said, sounds like it's turned into a job and not a passion anymore. I have put so much work into my passions, and I have honestly, because I think there is a lot of luck to be involved, right? The fact that I had a connection with Dude Perfect and I was able to do a video with them early on definitely helped. That's not something that everyone has the ability. I was just in the right time at the right place. We went to the same church. Things kind of just fell in place for certain things. And then I also obviously worked hard at it. But that is something that I'm in a position right now where like I don't need to have a job.
Yeah.
I can just be done. Me and Kelsey can just delete all our social media and just no one will see us ever again, and we can just be done and we're fine. And so the money, the financial, that side that I think really motivates a lot of people and drives a lot of people, makes them kind of get up in the morning and they don't want to go to their job, but they have to. See, that's what I think is making this really hard, because he said, sounds like it's turned into a job and it's not a passion anymore. And I have just always followed my passion, regardless of whether it was leading to money or not. I have always followed my passion. I was making no money when I first started doing YouTube, right? And I didn't know if there was going to be any money in it. But I was just making videos about how to throw a Frisbee and throwing Frisbees in the trash cans because I absolutely love doing it. And right now, I love doing this podcast. I love working with Hunter with Foundation. I still love aspects of disc golf, But the competitive side, I don't know what it is. I just was not fired up to play, and clearly that showed.
Silas, I lost him.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Do you still want to win? Is there still a goal? Like you've always.
Thing.
Do you?
That's the
do you
crazy
not care?
thing. If I would have won this weekend, I don't think anything changes. Like there was moments in time of.
Again.
Is it me, Silas, or is it Uli's internet? Oh,
really?
Uli, your internet might be going in and out a little bit over there.
I can hear you now.
You got me? Yeah. Silas says he hasn't. Silas says he hasn't lost me yet.
Okay. So it's me. That's fine.
It might just be your internet. All right. Yeah. So there were moments of where I played good, and I was 1 under, 2 under through portions, and it wasn't like my mood changed, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then when I played poorly, I was like, "Oh, this isn't fun." I wasn't interested, and so that's why I don't. And that's the thing that's the bothersome is old Brodie after a performance like this would come back to Dallas and be like, I need a freaking grind, and I'm going to go out and get a top 10 in Waco. That's just not the case anymore, man. And I'm wondering, did you lose me again? Did we lose you? Oh. And this is a big one, because I was talking to shout out to both my caddies too, because they were great to talk to, because we were kind of having these conversations, because they were both roughly my age, so we were kind of having these conversations while we were playing, because they both were like, yeah, man, I can totally see, like, you're just not in it. And the thing is like the competitive side and the winning, like, that has to be there. You have to have that goal and drive to want to actually win, to want to actually compete. And the question that I have is, was disc golf just fun and enjoyable because it was new? That is the concern, or that's a question that I'm having right now. Did I really just like disc golf a whole lot because I wasn't good at it? I didn't know how to throw these discs. I didn't know what these discs were. And was that like the fun part? Like, was it the newness of it was what it was fun? And then once I kind of figured all that out, I realized, like, oh, like, disc golf, I don't actually really like this as much as I thought I did.
Everything's like that. You find a new game that you like, and you get addicted to it, and then it runs out of its whatever. Everything's like that. But I think for myself, listen, from the first time that I started playing disc till now, of course there's not as much passion. When you're first learning how to play disc golf, it's like the best time of your life. You're outside, there's new things, you learn something new every day. It at some point it does become a job, because it is our job. For me, I like competition. That's what I like. Disc golf, I don't practice as much as I used to. I still do it because it's my job to go out there and do it, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy going to a field and throwing a bunch of stuff. Sometimes it's therapeutic, but something that's therapeutic is usually not that fun either. Like, meditating takes concentration and, like, patience and blah, 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 blah. It's not the funnest thing. You know what I mean? Hanging out with your buddies and playing a game of basketball, that's fun to me. That's like extremely fun, right? That's a big joy of my life if I could do that. Hanging with my friends, joking around and blah, 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 blah. That's the funnest part that you'll ever have in your life. Disc golf, not so fun. But I love competition. And when I look at tournaments, I hold on to a belief in my heart that I'm going to win again, right? And that's exciting for me to chase that, because I know I'm getting older, and and that's what's pushing me to keep doing it, is because I'm like, no, I want to prove the world wrong. Like, I don't Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have those goals. I want to set a bar of being like, no, I'm going to prove the world wrong. Whatever they think, they think that I'm getting burnt out. They think I don't love it. People are going to listen to me talk about like this and blah, blah, blah. And then I want to do it. And that's going to be awesome because all of that burnout and blah, 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 blah will be worth it at that point in time. And there'll be a new passion and blah, blah, blah. I always said this. It's a good thing I never won a major. It's a good thing because a lot like you, I love new things. I love, like when I started playing pickleball, dude, I played every single day. I loved it. It was absolutely a blast because it was a new thing for me to learn. I was bad at it. I love being bad at something and then getting good at it. Right.
Yes.
But I also made a deal with myself that disc golf, I wasn't going to leave it because I want to make it better. Right. So I have these other things too pushing me along. Like I always say this, people wonder why I do so much stuff. And I tell them it's because I don't want anybody else doing it. I think I can do it better than them. And I love disc golf because of what it's given me that I have to give back. Right. I have to make disc golf. When I'm done, I want it to be a better place. Plus the goals of those other things. And that it's not fun. Getting beat by these guys, these young kids every single week by 100 strokes is not fun. It's depressing.
But this is where I'm having a little bit of dilemma because Ultimate Frisbee, I played it for 10 years. I never got to the point of where it wasn't fun or it got to the point where it felt like a job. I got removed from Ultimate Frisbee because of injuries.
You were also young.
Then I go fairly, yeah. Then I go to golf later in my life. Same thing. I didn't remove myself from golf because I was no longer having fun. I got to the point in golf where I was like, hey, the next step is for me to either move to Latin America or move to like Asia and play on the Latin America tour or the Asian tour. And at this point, me and Kelsey had just recently got married, which we actually, our 5th year is coming up in a few days.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You're not too far behind us. But at that point in time, I was like, do I want to completely, she was going to stay in Dallas and come visit here and there. But I was like, I'm newly married. Do I want to just be gone all the time? And that's what is now my life. I'm gone all the time. I don't see her very often as much as I do. And I think a lot of these things kind of play into it. And priorities change. And I think I'm definitely going to take your advice of what you said. I think you said some really good stuff. I think this season, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the schedule and just kind of pick the tournaments that I'm like, these are the ones I want to play. I've got another year with Discraft on my contract. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that at the end of the year that they're happy with signing me, right? And obviously we're going to still do this podcast. I'm still going to be involved with Foundation, Atlas. I'm going to still do all that. But it was a very weird moment for me. It was a very raw moment for me because me, I'm crazy competitive, and I had no fire this past week.
It's okay. That's the thing.
Like, it's the first time it's ever happened in my life.
You can't beat yourself up about stuff like that.
It was very scary.
I know. Yeah. But it's just, that's
like, I would have allowed you to just walk up to me and punch me in the face and I wouldn't have done anything. I would have allowed you just to dominate me. And I would have just been like, I would have laid down and be like, yeah, all right, whatever, man. Oh.
I think another thing that I see that I tell a lot of people is the off season can be for two things. Don't do anything. And then as soon as the tour starts, you're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to get killed now because you can't take time off. There's no time. You're going to get lapped. I do believe this, the harder you work, the easier it is to play because you've already sacrificed. And so when the tournament starts, the jitters hit because you sacrificed all this time of being like, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I did. I deserve to play good, and it gets the tournament jitters back. Somebody who doesn't practice and shows up to hole one, there's no expectations. The only expectation is this. I didn't do anything this offseason. Yeah. This isn't going to...
no nerves. There's no nerves this past week.
Maybe it's going to be good. Maybe I just come out and that's what, you're testing the water. You're trying to convince yourself that it was okay to not do much in the off season and then play. That's not the way it works, man.
I went back to a lot of ultimate Frisbee mode. A lot of ultimate Frisbee form out there. Oh.
But it's the truth. You know what I mean? The harder you practice, the more pressure you put on yourself.
Yeah.
The more in the zone when they get on the first tee, you're like, yeah, it's my time. I put in the time. It's my time to do this thing. And when you don't do it, you're not going to get those nerves and you're going to get stomped.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone that did a fantastic job of handling the nerves this past weekend, we have the winner of the first ever Chess.com Invitational. Anthony Barela joins Tour Life now. AB, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. Size, do we have his mic good?
We got a little echo problem.
Yeah, try again, AB.
Hello?
Yeah, the mic. But yes, so we're gonna change up the pace a little bit here. People are saying welcome to therapy life. So we'll change up the pace a little bit here, and we're gonna go and talk now about the Chess.com Invitational. This tournament just went down this past week. It was a 3-round tournament at a brand new, for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, brand new course. However, this course had been played before as Throw Down the Mountain. Yes, that's better audio now.
Yeah,
all right, sweet.
My other headphones.
Okay, look at that. He went to tournament. He's got 2 headphones, Uli. Look at this guy. He's got more headphones than me and you combined. Okay, so yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us, AB. Always fun to have you on Tour Life and Talk. I guess my first question is, how much of a relief do you feel now getting that first one out of the way?
I mean, I don't even think I can explain it. It's just my entire disc golf career has just been like, oh, when's he going to get that first one? When's it going to happen? And then I've been so close so many times, and to finally do it, it really hasn't even sunk in yet. It's crazy. And we don't even really have time to like let it sink in because we're jumping straight into a tournament in 2 days, the Memorial. So yeah, it's just been a crazy feeling.
Could you feel, because I had no idea that this was your 11th lead card. This was your 11th time that you're in a pretty good position to win a tournament. Could you feel that throughout that round, like the buildup of like, okay, here we go again. Like, this is another chance. I can't blow this one. I got to take advantage. Like, did that just get higher and higher every single time you put yourself in that position?
It does. I'm not entirely sure if this is correct, but I think that was my first time ever leading going into a final round at an elite or anything like that. And that just gave me some extra confidence. And I felt like I have this lead already. I've already finished out a round with the lead. I can do it again. And I just kept my confidence and to get one shot at a time.
Is there a scarier person than Ricky Wysocki chasing you down? Like, is there anyone else out there that you think would be scarier to have on your heels right now?
I mean, not really, honestly. It's like Ricky and McBeth are obviously the 2 most intimidating disc golfers ever. But Ricky's a lot more vocal when he's playing with you. Like, he's just in your face with the fist bumps and the claps. And when he screamed "yeah" at me on hole 17, that was pretty scary. And I was like, wow, this is really happening. I've seen this so many times, and it's like happening to me right now. But
do you think that was directed towards you? Because watching it back, there was a small crowd. That hole 17, for those that watched and didn't play, it's not a great hole for spectators. It's a very, very tight leading into that hole.
Yeah.
So there was like 4 or 5 people, which I don't even know if they were even supposed to be back behind that basket.
Some
But there was
holding one of the rooks, just standing there.
There was a couple people behind the basket, and then the camera people, all you guys, the competitors, and then I think maybe some more fans were behind you guys. Did you feel like that was like directed towards you though, and not kind of directed towards like the main group?
I mean, I don't know, honestly. It was like I was the closest one to him, so I heard it the loudest. I wasn't like looking at him. I already knew he was going to make it. I just had a feeling that it was going in. I mean, it's Ricky Wysocki. Every putt he went up to, I expected him to drill it, but yeah, when he yelled that, it was pretty intimidating. And it made me whiff that 25-footer.
Thank God that didn't go OB. That would have been real dicey. What do you think was the biggest, if you could like pinpoint one thing, what was like the biggest difference between this time and all the other times that you had a chance to win?
I'd been leading since the beginning of the tournament, so I just knew that I was throwing the disc better than everyone that weekend, and it felt like every shot I had the confidence that I knew I was going to execute it, and it just snowballed into more and more confidence. And then that shot on hole 18, I knew I was going to throw it well. I'd been thinking about it all day, and I've replayed that shot in my head so many times, just throwing my Athena dead straight up that hill, and I made it happen. It was just building confidence throughout the entire week.
Was the way that hole 18 was structured, did that also kind of help the confidence a little bit of where if that hole was more of a throw until you land on the island hole, do you think that changed a little bit? Did you feel like you could confidently throw that second shot? Because to me, the tournament was almost won when you landed in the fairway on your first shot. Because if you do the math, you literally throw your second shot into the cliff. Then you go up there and you can make the putt to save your par, or you can lay up, tap in for bogey, and then if Ricky birdies, then I guess you guys are in a playoff in that situation. But you couldn't lose really once you were safe in the fairway. Did that the numbers go through your head at all, or were you just focused on, hey, I got to throw this in bounds?
Yeah, after I checked the scores after hole 17, I just knew that first one had to be in bounds to like really, really have a chance to win the tournament and to go into playoff. And I'm glad it didn't go into a playoff, because he definitely would have had the momentum, and I'm not sure how it would have went. But
I was gonna say, do you know what hole you guys would have played?
No, I have no idea.
Uli, do you know?
No clue.
Okay, yeah. No one knows. It would have been a surprise for all of us.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen that way, though.
I know. But yeah.
Well, what about like off season, first tournament of the season, you're playing in practice, you're playing well. Was there some sort of confidence from practice as well leading into there? Did you know you were going to be in the hunt, or was it like a surprise? Like, yes, I'm playing good. I'm here again. Because I guess my question is, we've all known that eventually it was going to happen. And that's a big story with especially you around the disc golf world is, okay, here's AB, and is he going to choke again? Right? Is he going to choke again? Like they talk about European Open. That's all I hear. Oh, he's going to blow it, blah, 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 blah. Even going into the last round, if you look at the comments down in the Pro Tour, it was, oh, AB's not going to be able to hold it, or is he? Or people being like, oh, this is his time to do it. Moving forward, were you like, no, I'm going to get this done the first tournament of the year and shut everybody up? Or was it just something that just randomly happened through the course of the tournament?
It really started like the first day I got to the course. Like Paul McBeth picked me up from the airport, and we went straight there, and it was his first time playing it as well. And like his first time playing like the new course, and we were playing it, and I was like telling him, I was like, I think I'm gonna be hard to beat out here. I don't think you have a chance this week. Like I'm just messing around. We were talking to each other. And then I played I think like 8 practice rounds, and we got the early practice with like the pressure for the All-Star event as well, and those tough conditions. So I just really felt prepared, like better than I have for tournaments in the past, because I was there 2 weeks early, just ready to go. And it was just a huge confidence builder from the moment I got to the property.
Because from my perspective, when I think of a storyline for this season, there can't be a better start for you. Somebody with this much potential, who was close all this time, and then you just stomp that out. And now, to me, looking at it, it's like, okay, the sky's the limit for this guy. You know what I mean? And we're going to see moving forward. But I don't know. I just feel like it was like something that you see in like storybooks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a real thing. Like, this kid, blah, blah, blah. And then, bam, he does it. First tournament of the year. Shuts everybody up.
And it wasn't like there was a who's who of people in that top 10. You had a charging Ricky down your breath. Gooseman was playing great that final round. He shot a course record. It wasn't like a tournament, and we've seen some of these of where, the top guys just don't show up for whatever, and someone can kind of steal a win away. You had some big names chasing you down, and you just played so well that you got so far out in front that they just didn't have enough holes to track you down. And again, the way you played 18 was absolutely perfect. That's literally the best way you can play that hole. Do you think, kind of going back to what Uli's talking about in the practice situation, those 2 weeks of practicing on that course had to have helped, not just you getting comfortable with that course, but you're not practicing courses like that in the off season. You're playing out in the desert, all open, hyzer shots. Yeah, Vista has some holes that are low ceiling a little bit, but you're not getting any scrambling practice like out there. So do you see yourself maybe seeing how successful you were with that much practice, and maybe like a course that's very similar, New London World Championship, also designed by Paul McBeth? Do you see yourself maybe trying to get up there a week earlier than you normally would to get a lot more practice in?
Yeah, it's just, I've been working out a lot this offseason, getting stronger to like help my body like handle lots and lots of reps. So I'm just going out to the course and just throwing as many possible shots just to get like comfortable and familiar with the holes. And it really benefits, honestly. I think the more practice rounds I have at a course, the better I'll play.
Well, let's take you back to I want to dive into your mental before this. What was your mental like? Are you the type of guy who was just like, okay, just give me enough time, I'm going to get a win? Or was it like, why does this keep happening to me? You know what I mean? And then that eventually becomes your identity, because it's happening all the time to where you're like, I just can't break through. Every time somebody plays better, or I blow up on 16 and that comes out of nowhere, and that's not me. You know what I mean? Are you the type of person who's just like, nope, just give me time, it's going to happen? Or was it more of a surprise?
It was honestly a mix of both. Like, I felt like, wow, am I ever going to win one of these things? And then some days I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to win the next tournament. It's just like, I don't really know. It's like a crazy mental thing with myself that I had. And I was just trying not to think about it all this week. And I led the tournament the whole way through and won it. Yep. And it was just, a mix of both.
So one thing that we saw at the European Open was Paul McBeth coming onto your bag later in the final round. Who was your caddy the final round, and did he caddy for you the entire tournament? And was that something that helped?
I didn't have a caddy any of the rounds before that, and then he came on hole, I think 6 or 7.
And who is this guy?
No, he's talking about European Open.
Oh no, I'm talking about this tournament. Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about this one. Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about this one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it was my girlfriend's little sister's boyfriend, and I got him into disc golf like a year ago, and he just instantly fell in love with it. And he goes to UCF, and so he's out in Orlando. So he drove up every day, and he just wanted to caddy for me, and he was just literally like the perfect caddy. Like, he kept up with me because I know I like to run off like down the hills and stuff and get in front of everyone. And he would keep up with me, set my bag right in front of me every time I sat down or anything, and he'd give me fist bumps and just kept me super level head. Like, I had really no reason to be frustrated. I was always comfortable, and he was just the perfect caddy. And I owe a lot to him because he was a huge part of that victory.
So do you see yourself changing? Because I think this is one of the biggest blind spots that a lot of players have. And I understand that, you know, not everyone is in a position that can have a consistent caddy with them. But there are so many players on tour that, based off of who they're playing with, like the players on their card can actually help them play better or not, because they can be like open and talk with them. And I think you could have that every single time you play if you have a caddy you're comfortable with. So do you see yourself kind of changing and going away from like, I'm just going to carry my bag and be by myself kind of thing? Or do you see yourself looking into maybe trying to find a caddy for future events as well?
The thing is for me with like a caddy for a tournament is it has to be like consistent. It has to be the same person, and it has to be every single round. Or
I've seen you had like Adam jump on your bag, or you have like Austin Turner jump on your bag like for the final round, and you think that's kind of maybe in the past it's kind of hurt you a little bit not having them with you the entire time, and all of a sudden now you have a caddy for the final round.
Yeah, I would say it's just inconsistent for me, and it just like, I don't know, if I just carry my bag for the first 3 days, I might as well just carry it the rest of the day, because I'm in that groove doing my own thing. And then same thing, if I have a caddy, I want them to be the same person every single day of the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Uli, do you have anything? I mean, you're one of the few guys on tour that has a caddy consistently. Do you think that's also like a blind spot for a lot of guys? Do you think a lot of people could benefit from having someone?
I think it's when somebody says, hey, if you were to ask one of the top players and give them advice of what they could do to be better, that's the one thing I would say that a lot of these guys don't have, which is a huge benefit, is a full-time caddy who you trust, who can do all that stuff for you. I mean, I travel with Anthony and Adam and Austin, and they get to hang out with Brad, my caddy, all the time. This dude does everything for me. Like, he is an absolute rock star, maniac, positive, the most positive person ever. Without him, who knows how the last couple seasons would go, because he was one of my only bright spots. He was the only person telling me like that I was good enough. You know what I mean? And when I see these other players just carrying their own bag, first of all, you carrying your own bag, I don't care how good of shape you are, by the end of the round, you're not as fresh as you could have been if somebody else is carrying your bag. Period.
No matter what course like this,
no matter what level,
Olympus, it was essential to have a caddy there. I don't know how people played that course without a caddy.
And then I see other times where all of a sudden the rain comes. This actually happened. The featured card, nobody had the caddy on the last hole, and they all absolutely blew it. I couldn't believe it. They didn't have a caddy. They didn't have an umbrella. I was like, how is this possible? And I think Calvin doubled the last hole or something. And listen, I promise you, if he has a caddy there and he has 2 umbrellas and he has a dry disc and a towel, he's not double bogeying that hole. He's too good. You know what I mean? He's just not. And so when I see the top players all do this, I think it's the easiest thing to fix. I mean, what if you look at, like, let's say a Calvin, and I'm just speaking on my opinion. Obviously, he might get a caddy and then blow up. I don't know. But let's just say hypothetically that this caddy saves you 5 shots total the whole entire year. How many times did it come down to the last hole in so many tournaments for like a Calvin? It could possibly get you the stroke that you need to get over the hump for a win. And it's all hypothetical, like I said. But that's when somebody asks me, that's what I say. I think a caddy is essential. There's a reason that, the top players in traditional golf have great caddies. They carry their stuff all the time and they trust. I don't know. That's what I think about that whole thing.
Also, AB, you were correct. Our statistician, EDWIN Stats, just confirmed this was the first time AB went into the final round with the lead. He has had the lead after 2 rounds and a few 4-round events, Las Vegas last year being the most recent. So you were right.
Sweet.
There you go.
Silas, are you there?
Silas,
I'm here.
That sounds so desperate, Uli.
You right, Uli?
You okay over there, bud?
You could hear me?
Yeah.
No,
we all
it
heard
took me
that.
to a screen by myself. I was all alone and unprotected.
Yeah, that's
I was
what it
so
sounded
scared.
like. You sound like a scared little puppy in a corner.
That's funny. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, there he is.
You're popping back. All right, AB, a couple fun questions here for you. This was sent in surprisingly by a lot of people. A lot of people want to know this. I have no idea where this came from. People are starting to assume that you don't like your nickname, AB.
Why would they assume that?
There's just been some scuttlebutt of people saying I don't think AB actually likes his. I think Anthony Barela doesn't like his nickname AB, which I thought was weird because it's not like we're calling you like the Terminator, and it's like really like it's just your initials, and a lot of people do that already.
Yeah, my parents have called me AB since I was 1 year old. Like it's always just been like what I reply to. And one thing is when Gossage or Ezra or Tristan call me Tony, that one I don't know about.
Yeah, they do that to get under your skin for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so anyone that wants to come up and get a picture or an autograph, you can call him AB. He will not get upset.
Yeah.
Okay, glad we got that. All right. First tournament, I didn't want to have to come out of retirement. Okay, I didn't. I was happy in my own little world, not doing anything, chilling, seeing these photos at the end of these tournaments and just biting my tongue and looking the other way. I gotta ask. Sal's gonna put the photo up.
Yep.
What are we thinking here?
At first I was a bit confused. I actually held it up the wrong way because I thought there was something on the other side of it. But then they told me to turn it around and I was like, oh, it's just a chessboard. But yeah, in the moment I was like, I didn't really care about the trophy. I just won the tournament, so it didn't really matter. And then after the round, Jeff Corns told me that it's going to get personally engraved and then I'm going to get like a whole chess set, like all the pieces and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the end result is definitely sick. I think it's going to turn out to be really nice. The problem is most people aren't going to know that.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Most people just think that you got someone went into a Target or a Walmart. I think someone was saying, like, some high-level chess players were saying, like, that's actually a really nice chessboard. Like, it's
that's what
Again, we would have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know at all.
But I guess that is some sort of like kind of nice, classy chessboard. The thing I get, and again, chess.com Invitational, maybe Silas will throw this other photo up. If there was only something else that they could have like come up with and made like a really sick trophy that was like, if there was like something that was like feminine, that they could give to like FPO that had like chess, and then there was something that was like masculine, like if there was like a royalty thing, if there was something like that they could have given out, I think people would have loved that. But unfortunately, I don't think there was anything that they could have tied in. So chessboard, I guess, was maybe the only thing there. So, but I guess I'm out of retirement officially, and I'm back into the rating rating trophies.
We'll rate it.
Yeah, give us the rating.
Okay, so this is an item that I cannot find in my garage. I don't put my chess boards in my garage. So that definitely bumps it up. But because there was such a clear, like, they could have made a sick trophy, like a glass king and a glass queen, and had your name. It could have been so sick. I think I got to give this a 4. But I'm willing to increase it. If you want to send me a photo once they engrave it and they give you the chess set and everything, if you want to send me a photo of the full trophy, I'm willing to increase that 4.
I will and then you can post it on Twitter.
I'll post it on Twitter, and you can like you can be do this for me. Have like the king and like slowly have it like tipping over. That would be the perfect photo.
Okay.
Like checkmate. Speaking of checkmate, do you want to promo this this disc that's coming out for your win?
Yeah, we got the commemorative TI Swirl Zones for the chess cut. They made a sweet stamp, and I'm super pumped about it. And yeah, go check them out on teamdiscraft.com. You can pre-order them right now. It's been a long time coming for one of those. And
I'm loving how quick they're doing this now.
Yeah.
I feel like 2-3 years ago, Uli, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm feeling like this was sometimes like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They would come out with a disc from like a win a month ago that people kind of forgot about. So this was, I saw this yesterday, I feel like, or maybe I even saw something Sunday night talking about it. I could be crazy there, but yeah, so go check that out. That's going to be is that going to be on yours, or is that just discraft.com?
That's going to be on the team page on mine.
Okay. There it is. Silas has it up. Look at that.
Oh,
That's
that
freaking
is so
sick.
cool.
Oh yeah.
That is a sick thing. Who's better at chess, you or Gooseman?
Goss is better. He likes to nerd out on the chess. He plays it 24/7.
He does play it a lot now. Uli, are you nice with the pieces?
I just played Goss a couple days ago, and we had a draw.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You
we
ran
had
out
a
of
draw.
time or what?
Yeah, he was leaving, and so he was just destroying me. So I put the button that was like "draw?" question mark, and
he accepted it.
And he accepted it. So I don't know. I guess the jury's still in session for that one, man.
Yeah, we'll have to do a rematch.
He's good. I used to play when I was a kid, but I haven't played a lot in a long time. And Goose was saying that he was practicing a lot because he was hoping to play Magnus. And
I mean, that would have been exciting. Have you guys seen those chess books though, where it's essentially they have like in game, so it's just a photo of let's say 30 moves into a game. There's a photo, and there's one way for you to automatically win. Like if you do a certain thing, you will win 100% of the time. And you got to figure out like the 8 moves, the 9 moves, the 10 moves that you have to do to win. Have you guys seen those books?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. There was a guy on my bus back in high school, and that's what he would just study these books and like, these guys are nutty.
Yeah.
Are you going to get into any, is this like now going to make you interested in playing chess more, or is that just?
No.
I
actually downloaded the app when I found out that they were sponsoring the tournament, because I had it like a few years ago.
Okay.
And then the CEO actually came up to us in the practice field, and he's like, "I'll trade you some disc golf tips for a free year membership." And I was like,
"Oh,
all right,
heck
perfect. Yeah." So he gave me the diamond membership for free for a year. And I've been playing a couple matches a day, just messing around with it. It's pretty fun.
You got to reach back out now that you won and see if you can boost that up to a couple extra years. I feel like a win at their tournament should be a couple extra years.
Like a lifetime.
The guy's kind of nice too. His throw he had was actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be like a beginner, but then he had a smooth throw.
Yeah,
it was down and everything.
It was not too shabby at all. Let's talk about the course a little bit, because I wanted you, we haven't gotten into it at all. I wanted to hold off on talking about that until you popped on. What was your overall, I mean, again, I don't think you're a person though. There are some people on tour that based off of their performance, that decides whether they think a course is good or not. You're not one of those people. So I think even though you did win, I think you can be critical and say what you actually think about the course. So what were your thoughts on Olympus?
I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful property. And I love courses that have a lot of sidearms and have like those tight, straight gaps, because that's like my favorite shot to throw. And I'm most confident with like hitting those small gaps with like a fairway driver. And there's like a lot of shots where you have to down tempo and place it in a landing zone. And I like to club up and then slow down my throw for shots like that. So I think that was super beneficial. And yeah, it was a great course, and it really played well in my game.
Sounds like you're judging it off of your performance a little bit.
I am, but Northwood Black's my favorite course on the planet, and I got 150th at Ledgestone. So yeah. But they have similar shots, but I love the course. It's easily in my top 10 now.
Yeah, you haven't played New London yet either, have you?
No,
you haven't been out there yet.
Is that the one on the golf course or the wooded one?
No, the one on the golf course is called Ivy Hills. New London is the one that the Ivy Hills was designed by Nate Heinold and his team. New London was designed by Paul in the city of oh man, why am I blanking on what that city is? It's not Lynchburg. It's
Bedford.
Forest. Bedford. Thank you, Silas. Bedford. City of Bedford. So this course, I had my doubts because we talked to Calvin a little bit in the off season, and he was saying, throw down the mountain. He's played out there quite a bit. He was saying it was going to need a lot of work. If you walked around, you got to see like the old tee pads. It was just like a really small piece of rubber, right?
Yeah,
and so,
yeah,
the tee pads I thought were great. I didn't really the weather wasn't phenomenal. Like there was going to be a lot of mud and water on them, and I thought they held up pretty good still. I do worry about those tee pads though, because if they do get played a lot, I think that type of turf can get run down really easily in that one spot and get kind of slick. But for us, I thought the tee pads were great. I was most surprised with the greens. I thought there were so many unique greens, and not only did you have to think about how you wanted your disc to approach the green, like angle wise, but also there were so many difficult putts, different elevation changes, and then the rollaway potential. I just thought maybe we get a couple greens like that on courses, but I couldn't really think of a green where I was just like, yeah, this one doesn't really make sense. This is kind of not that great of a green. I thought most of the greens were really, really fascinating. And to me, that's a huge thing because a lot of times we play these courses where they just put a basket somewhere in the middle and you land 60 feet from it and you have a wide open putt. Mm-hmm. And that was not the case at this course.
Yeah, there's a lot more strategy involved with the scrambling at this course into the greens, which is, I think you need to implement that into every single course because some of these courses you can just throw a spike hyzer from anywhere and park it. But here you have to really trust your angles and match the hillsides and stuff like that.
I didn't have many cons, but the few that I had, I wasn't a big fan of hole one being hole one. I think it's a good hole. I don't think it's a great starting hole. And also it's just not good. If you have a huge crowd, which I'm sure you had a way bigger crowd than I did at 9:20 in the morning. It's not easy for a big crowd to kind of see the shot. Cause if you're 5 or 10 feet back off, your angle kind of gets cut off with the trees in line. With the hill and the trees. If you're like in the first, like right on the edge, you can kind of see the whole shot. But if you have a massive crowd, I think that might be a little bit tricky there for hole one. And then the only other hole that like jumped out at me as like, I wish they could try to figure out something was hole 17. I thought that was the only hole that I saw guys throw their shot and then literally look at the spotter to be like, am I inbounds or not? No one really knew if they threw a good shot or not. And to me, especially late in a round, I don't like having that flukiness. And we saw a lot of fluky stuff on that hole where some people skipped in bounds, some people clipped the tree and dropped and were safe. So, and I know you talked about in your post interview how you didn't really know how to play that hole. I don't know if anyone really knew how to play that hole.
Yeah.
Where you're at the stock on 17.
I felt like I threw the same exact shot all 3 rounds off the tee.
Different results.
Two of them were out of bounds, and one of them wasn't even close to being in bounds. It's just, I don't know.
I thought it was one of the better holes on the course, honestly.
You liked it, really?
The only thing I would change is I would take the OB by the trees and I'd put it farther down so that people aren't trying to crush it into the trees because you potentially could go OB. And that way, like AB said, he threw the same.
What are you talking about right now? Are you talking about the tee shot?
The tee shot. the tee shot going over and then into the trees. There's the OB line.
But you're saying the far OB line.
Yeah. Yep.
Past the water. Okay.
Because I don't want to see people throwing hard, trying to crash into the trees, hit down, and then throw their approach or whatever and being like, oh, I can get par no matter what. But if you push that OB line, I would say even just 5 feet farther into the tree line, you take that kind of out of play. Everybody's going to play the same shot. But I watched Ricky throw a shot, hit the stuff, come down inbounds, and then I watch other people just float too low and then skip out of bounds. So it was like kind of a luck factor. What I like about the hole is it brings a classic shot back into the equation on a really, really tough par 4 on a short par 4, to where you have to have touch over the water that lands soft into a landing area and then another touch shot into another tight green. I don't think we see that often on our courses right now as we see them anyway.
I think because it's a blind shot, though, if it wasn't a blind shot, if
every shot's a blind shot up there.
There's a lot of blind shots on the course, I know, but I just think because it's a blind shot, like AB was saying, I just didn't see guys throw it, and we see this all the time. Guys throw it and immediately turn around. AB, when you threw your shot on 18, you knew instantly, boom, nailed it. It's money. In that shot, I just never saw anyone throw it and were confident. And to me, coming down the stretch, that's my only complaint is I just thought it was a little fluky, where people were throwing shots they didn't know if it was good or bad.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that was my only thing. Is like you could throw 10 shots and you could be like, that one's good, that one's good, that one's bad, and you could be wrong about all 3 of them. But I like the second shot a lot, and I like the concept of the hole. What about this? What if they somehow built the tee pad up? I don't know if they could do that, but what if they built the tee pad up to where you're level with the gap you're hitting, to where you had a little bit more of a visual on your landing zone?
Yeah, maybe
that ruined the hole.
I think part of the hole is you have to trust your shot, and not being able to see kind of makes it like that much tougher. You know what I mean? Like you have to,
because it's more flicky.
No. If you throw a stable putter on Anheuser through that gap, you have complete control over the shot. People weren't doing it because that's a harder shot to throw. If you throw it with Anheuser through that gap, you could pull it into the stuff, and you're bringing the bigger side of the lake involved. If I throw putter with Anheuser through that shot high, I can turn around if I hit the gap middle, because I know it's going to be good. Everybody's throwing with hyzer to try to just get through the gap, and then you bring the left side into play. And that's why everybody's like, okay, I know I didn't play it the perfect way. It's when you pull it on accident with the same shot, that's when you actually knew it was probably going to be good. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense or no?
It does make sense. I still just think the landing zone for a blind shot is just so tiny. That's my only thing. Is it's such a small landing zone for a blind shot. And
when it gtes windy, it's impossible. It really is, because you could throw a good shot and then it's like, oh, it could just drop right into the pond.
Who knows what's happened?
Yeah.
I thought the course was very good with variation though. I didn't feel like I was there was a lot of par 4s that you were like you were saying, AB, you're throwing like kind of placement shots and like trying to just there was maybe 2 or 3 holes where you're throwing like maybe more, 4 or 5 holes that you were throwing like full power shots. But it didn't seem like a repeating course, which I liked. I thought there was a lot of variety. Yeah. So I thought that was good. Did you guys hear anything from like spectators on the ground? Because that's the only other kind of complaint or con, I guess you could say, about the tournament, is like it wasn't the greatest for spectators on the ground.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 holes where they can't even see a single shot on the hole.
Yeah, they just aren't even allowed to go back there.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a area where spectators can't go if it's a good course. But I keep saying this, there has to be a hangout spot to where they're not going there. They go to a certain spot they can watch on a big screen
TV,
and they can see them play. They can get a couple drinks or something, buy a couple discs, buy some stuff, and then, here they come out of the spot. Okay, time to go, and then they can follow them. Yeah. I always think that there should be something like that, and there never is.
They could put one of those behind the fairway on hole 18, like way deep past the flags. I thought that would be a perfect area.
Yeah.
Or like when they were down into the goalie after that Venom sidearm that you would park down the hole every time. And that's in 12. Between a lot of holes.
Yeah, that big area there.
That big area, that's where a lot of people were hanging out anyway. So I really felt like there should have been something right there, like a nice little vending area or something to where people are just there, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a way. That was nice. I love the course. It was one of my favorite courses that I played in a long time. I will be going back because I liked it so much.
It was a lot of fun.
I do have one complaint.
Ooh.
I freaking can't stand throwing down a damn road.
Oh, I knew you were going to hate 16. I knew you were going to hate 16.
It's a road, bro. Or
it's got mulch on it.
Hole 3, road.
I like getting ready to throw a shot and hearing some guy in a giant pickup truck blasting it as loud as he can down the freeway.
And then there was another one that actually hurt the tournament. It was a tight par 4 that like you had like 17 options off the tee, and then it goes like straight up to the left over the hill.
Oh gosh, that hole was. Did you ever birdie that hole, AB?
Which hole? Oh, is that? Are you talking about?
No, I think it's like 4. Are you talking about 4?
No,
you got throw down, and then like you have the 2 fairways after your tee shot.
I'm talking about the shorter one that has like
that's
20
in the corner.
Hole 11.
I love that.
Oh, in the corner. Yeah, you go down and then up.
One of my favorite holes.
Yeah.
But I landed in the middle of the fairway after the rain, and they drove their dumb little freaking thing up and down that thing, and it was just a mud pit because it's a road. Did you notice that? I landed in the middle. I couldn't run up because it was a mud pit.
It was sloppy.
I'm like, come on, man.
Funny.
Did you birdie
on Saturday, man. Sunday.
Oh, man.
Did you birdie hole 4 at all? Either one of you guys?
I 7 and 5'd it.
I thought that was the hardest. I think that was the hardest hole to birdie.
I had 2 putts at birdie from down the hill to the right. I would actually go over the top and crash into the trees, like over.
Oh, your tee shot. Yes, you would just blast a tee shot over. Yeah,
and then
you did that on Friday too in the wind.
Yeah, I did it every day.
Gosh, I was 5 over on that.
Yeah, that hole. I mean, the people I was playing with, guys, that hole ate our lunch. That would have been exciting to come out and watch how the people I was playing with played that hole.
My card too, man. My card too. It was brutal. Even the people in front of me were like coming back from the tee and like losing their discs. We're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think this is a course though that gets a lot better as it gets worked in, because there were still some holes where I was like, that bush probably shouldn't be there. Like, like that's pretty much in the fairway. That's a good shot.
Christmas tree, dude.
There's still some stuff that needs to kind of get cleaned up, and I think it will. I think they also need to try to figure out what they're doing with the cliff situation, because I forgot to mention this, Uli. I took my first ever, and I'm curious if you guys have had this happen to you. I took my first ever penalty stroke after a round. I got a penalty stroke. Have you guys ever gotten a penalty stroke?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lots of times.
Oh, from what?
That one.
Playing holes wrong, doing all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess I haven't been playing long enough, but I threw on one of the holes. Is it 5? It might be 5. Is 5 the one where you go down and to the left?
Yeah.
Down or
like you throw you'll throw like a zone down, and then your next one's like a power forehand up into the little cove.
Oh,
6. It's right next to that really cool par 3 where you throw like a big turnover or you throw a forehand.
Yeah.
It's like hole 18, and then that hole, and then that hole. 6?
Yep.
So I threw it. It clipped the tree. There it is. Silas has it. I threw it. Clipped the tree on the way out. Came backwards, and that cliff right there. There's like roots and stuff growing out of the cliff, and there's a bunch of dead limbs on it. So it landed, and it's levitating on like the cliff, like 2-3 feet off the cliff. And I looked at it, and I was like, I can't play that. It's on a cliff. Like, I will die. And so everyone on my card was like, I guess we'll just play it how we play all the other cliffs, right? Of where you just take it to a safe spot. And so I did that. And then after the round, someone brought it up to the TD and was like, oh, hey, Brodie did this. And then the person, it was so weird because in the moment, everyone was like all about it and was like, yeah, man, like I just do that. Like there's nothing else you could do. And I was like, okay. And then afterwards, like this person really wanted me to, the tune changed for some reason of where they were like, he needs to get stroked for this. And to the point where they said, if rules don't matter, then I'm just going to show up tomorrow and play shirtless.
No way someone said that.
So, yeah. And again, guys, I'm so much over par at this point, and Uli knows from the conversation we had, I did not care at all. So I was like, literally just get me a stroke. That's fine. But I think
how did you play it wrong? What were you supposed to do?
I think I was supposed to play an unplayable and re-tee, or play an unplayable and throw from the first spot it's playable. I guess because there wasn't anything that was
so I guess it said it was casual.
So I think it's the same thing as like throwing it into like a sawgrass plant and being like, I can't physically get into this plant and throw. So then you just take an unplayable and take a stroke. So that's what ended up happening. But it was very weird too. You guys know on hole 15, the water before you get over, you're throwing your shot up and to the left. And I guess that lake doesn't really exist unless there's a lot of rain. But it wasn't marked as casual or anything.
Oh, on 14?
Is it 14?
Yeah.
Before the par 5.
Yeah.
Before the par 5. Yeah, 14. And like someone threw it into the water, and I like texted Phil being like, is this guy have to like walk out and throw this shot? Because it's not listed as casual. And we looked up the casual rule. The casual water rule is not it's not like really well defined in the PGA rule.
It's confusing.
So that's where I said, what do you guys think about this? I think it should be, if you put your foot in that piece of paper in your lie, if you step your foot down and water comes up out of the ground and is like by your shoe, even though if you move your foot, you don't see any water. If you put your foot down and water comes up by your shoe, like that to me, that should be casual. And Uli, that would have helped you in your mud pit.
I was so mad at the mud pit, dude. I was right in the middle of a tire mark, bro. I was like,
But that takes away all like the gray area, because like right now it's like there's a very weird gray area in it. But that's the only other con I had was like the cliff situation there. I don't know why they've decided that those two cliffs are the only cliffs that are unplayable.
Yeah. When there's
a lot of other. I was playing with this one guy, and he was like trying to figure out how to throw the shot for 4 minutes. Because he's on the side of a cliff. He's like Billy goating it over there. And I'm like, dude, I was literally thinking in my head, like I visualized, I don't know if this was a good thing. Again, I was in a weird spot, but I visualized like what it would look like if he slipped and fell. And I was like, what would I do if this guy slipped and fell 30 feet down this cliff? Oh, man. All right, Uli, you got anything else for the champ here?
nope.
The champ.
Yeah, how's that sound, by the way?
I love it. Uli called me champ today and then he smoked me in our little round today. But
Oh, no.
It was a big pillow fight. I shot like 2 under.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You guys played
They both-
Vista?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we both bogeyed hole 18. It was a battle.
Tough.
What do they have as a 18 now? They've changed that hole all the time. What is it now?
Actually, a tricky little guy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. They throw from a tee pad that's like 150 feet further left, so you're like throwing more over the water.
Okay.
It's like It might be an easier angle, but it looks a lot cooler.
They still doing that, like the triple Mando thing there on that hole too?
No.
No, not anymore.
Triple
It's just
Mando's gone.
it's like an island green, kind of.
Oh. I remember,
cool.
do you guys remember the last tournament? I think Eagle threw a disc on that hole. He didn't throw the disc that he wanted to throw. He threw a disc that he was okay losing. Do you guys remember that?
Are you talking about the triple Mando when you missed it high?
He was like, it was the final hole of the tournament, because I think that was the year that it ended at Vista for some reason. I can't remember what year that was, but he was playing, and I remember him saying something along the lines of like, he didn't want to throw one of his discs and lose them, so he threw a disc that wasn't the right shot disc for that hole. Simply, I thought that was the wild thing, which I don't know if he would still do the same thing.
I do that all the time when I'm on.
You would do that on hole 18?
Well,
to win a tournament?
Probably not there, but I definitely throw discs that I don't want to lose.
Oh yeah, for sure. I lost. How many discs did you guys lose at Olympus?
I don't lose any.
No, one. I lost it in that casual lake.
Oh,
because I played it blind. I was playing the par 5 and I did a big turnover. I didn't know there was a cliff to the right, and it was just like my best nuke just straight in the lake.
I lost like 5 discs on purpose, actually, because Peter brought a bunch of ledgestone discs and he had me just chuck them off the mountain on hole 18 for like little Easter eggs for people to find.
Oh, I didn't know if you were throwing those to people or not. So you're just chucking those to who knows where.
Yeah, he told me to do it, so I was like, all right.
No, nice.
Go find yourself a new ledgestone disc over there.
Yeah, well, I have a sick nuke on hole 18 if anyone wants to find that.
Listen,
that's gone.
I played so bad on some of these holes, I found lost discs.
That one I was telling you about?
I found other people's lost discs. I was just like finding all this stuff, looking for my stuff.
There was 5 discs. 5 discs that weren't ours in the fairway. And we're trying, I mean, that was a hole that they definitely needed a spotter. They had a lot of spotters, but 5 or 4, they needed a spotter because you would throw and people would go on the sawgrass. You have no idea. We were looking for discs and someone's like, hey, I got a yellow one right here. Everyone's like, no one threw a yellow. I'm like, all right. Oh, there's a purple over here. No one threw a purple. There was so many discs just in the fairway on that hole.
Brodie, last thing. Great story.
Okay,
hole 18, second round, playing with my group. Get to the last hole. You're going to love this. Guy's on the tee pad. Getting ready to throw. Stops. Looks at the group and says, guys, I don't want to shake hands or do anything on the last hole. I want to do it after.
Heck yeah.
And I go, dude, like you stopped us.
You could have just thrown.
You could have just went. None of us were like doing that. It was the weirdest thing ever. I literally said that. So I wanted to tell you. Now you guys are ruining everything. You guys are stopping and being process. Like, no, this isn't happening.
Did you guys fist pump on hole 18's tee? AB, you and Ricky?
He gone.
Oh, he doesn't want to answer that question. All right, I ask him one tough question. He bounces. Look at this guy. This guy's scared of the tough questions.
That's what. Dude, you're ruining things, Brodie. The guy literally stopped, looked at us. None of us were gonna do it, and he goes, "Just so you guys know, like, can we not?" And then he said, "This was hilarious." He goes, "Well, I just didn't want you guys to stop me when I was throwing."
I've seen people do that though, Uli.
Like what?
Uli, I've seen people do that. I'm like in the middle of getting ready to throw, and someone like comes up to like fist bump, middle like getting ready. But AB, I asked what you cut out there. I asked, did you and Ricky fist bump before teeing off on hole 18?
That's a yes. That's a confirmed yes.
Was that? I didn't hear him. I don't hear him.
He's muted.
He said yes.
He's saying yes for sure. They did.
You can read lips.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people shake their head like this and say no. So I gotta wait. I gotta wait for audio to confirm this.
Nope, can't hear you, buddy.
Okay, hold
Silas,
up a 1.
Get him back. Get him back.
Hold up a 1 if you did shake. If you did, okay, he did. All right, there we go. We got visual confirmation that he did shake hands.
Did you stop him in the middle of his throw?
Yeah, Ricky threw first there. Ricky threw first.
Maybe that was off the deep end. Hey, stop.
Gamesmanship from AB. I did get a little bit of a chuckle out of one of the guys I was playing with, because he was the one that initiated it all and was like, "Hey, good playing with you." And someone like brought it up, being like, "Oh, yeah, Brodie doesn't really like doing that." And I was like, it's not like I don't like it. It's just, I just said it was fun playing with you. And I was like, but like, what if you're a douchebag on hole 18 now? I told you already it was fun playing with you. Can't take that back. You have that on me now. I want to wait until the final, tap out to make my decision on whether or not it was fun playing with you. I think we have AB back. Audio?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
I do have a final.
Friend kept calling me.
You're fine. You're very popular. You're winning a lot of tournaments. I do have a final question though for you.
Yeah.
Final question. How was it? Everyone taking score?
I didn't mind it. I usually would try to do the PDGA live before, but during the first 9 holes of the second round was pretty bad because nobody had any service or any access to the app.
Oh.
So I ended up, nobody knew what the live score was happening. The only one who had service actually was the guy who wasn't even from America, Niklas. He has a completely European phone plan, and his was the only one that worked.
Oh.
But yeah, so I ended up just making a UDIS scorecard and putting in the scores because I didn't have a paper one.
Ooh, don't say that too loud. PGA might come after you using UDIS.
I don't mind using the thing. I think we should all use paper, because
I didn't have a problem all of us doing the scores. It didn't.
But when the thing crashes, guess what happens? You can't take score, which is exactly what happened.
I didn't even take score for 9 of the holes, and I was like, I'm not going to get stroked for this. I don't have another option.
They called me after the tournament, like 5 hours after, and they're like, "Hey man, can you hit your score thing?" I'm like, "What?"
Confirm your route.
For real, they did, because I got done and we did it all by paper, and I'm like, all right, we got a paper one. Are we good? Like, I'm not gonna wait here till the PDGA figures out how to get their site back up, and they're like, yeah, you're good. And then they called me up. They're like, hey, can you hit confirm on your scorecard? You're messing everything up. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I thought that was the only weird thing about all of us keeping scores. That it didn't actually seem at the end that you needed to all keep scores, because I did paper. I did paper all 3 rounds, and maybe it was because we were, in last place that they really didn't care. But it just seemed like the person I was handing my scorecard to was just taking it and like putting it in the trash. Yeah. So I don't think. I mean, I could have wrote some Egyptian letter in there instead of a number, and I don't think anything would have changed. So
nope.
All right, AB, do you have anything else? You've been awesome so far.
Yeah.
On the pod.
I
know everyone loves having you on here.
Yeah, shout out to my sponsors, Discraft, Grip, Pastry Dyes, and my friends and family. And yeah, go over to teamdiscraft.com, get yourself a jersey. It's crazy how many people support me, especially in Arizona. Like today we came out and there's a whole group of 4 players playing in the jersey I just won in on Sunday, so that was pretty cool to see.
Sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, the support is unreal. It's just so many people have been pulling for me, and I'm glad to finally do one for them.
What was your celebration dinner?
Texas Roadhouse, baby. Again.
That's how it's done. Get the rolls. You know how it's done. All right. Very cool. We appreciate you, AB. Congratulations. Thanks for coming on, taking the time, and good luck this upcoming week. And everyone else will see you in Waco.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take it easy, brother. Have a good one. All right, that is your 2024 Chess.com Invitational Champion, Anthony Barela, and you can call him AB. All right, let's talk. Let's kind of go down a little bit of the leaderboard, because I do want to call out some performances from this past week, and some surprising finishes for some. You've got this was your top 10. You got AB Ricky in second, Aaron Gossage shooting the course record 8 under, which I was surprised. Were you surprised the course record was 8? I thought it would have been a little. I thought someone could have gotten to double.
I think if we played it again, someone's getting doubles for sure.
I think if Friday wasn't windy. Yeah, Friday wasn't windy. I think you're right. I think people would have played better on Sunday. Friday was like not like a real round. Like we were playing all those holes way differently. Yeah, it was nuts. Gannon Burr, you know, a lot of question marks on how he was going to do with Discmania, new plastic. He finished in 4th. Then you got Kyle Klein, his Discmania teammate, finished in 5th. Isaac Robinson, kind of like a sneaky 6th place there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Matty O had a great finish, 6th place. He could have actually finished in the top 3. Struggled on hole 18. Actually, I think he doubled hole 18, or he bogeyed hole 18. I think if he would have ended up taking a par or birding that, he could have finished in the top 5. Then we keep going down. Gavin Rathbun. This was one that I definitely wanted to highlight. This is a guy that at one point in time, Uli, we were all talking about how this is like the next big guy.
Yeah.
Throws far, great putter, good sidearm, gets injured and really struggles after his injury. I think I looked it up last year. I think he finished like 120th at USDGC, 60th or something at Worlds, and then only ended up having 4 top 25s all last year.
Wow.
And he comes out the first event of the year, shoots 12 under, 6 under the final round, and finishes tied for 6. So that is a name to keep an eye out. Guy's got a lot of skills. Jesse Nieminen, who is one of the European guys, him and Nicolas Antilla, both finishing tied for 9th with Joseph Anderson, another kind of young up-and-comer. We saw him perform pretty well at a few tournaments last year. Keep an eye out for him this year. Going down the leaderboard too, you know, I think this course was one that, you know, I think which made it even more impressive with AB is I think a lot of people put AB in that category of like, he only can really play well on golf courses that you can throw really far. This was not that course. We kind of talked about it. You only need really big distance on a couple holes. And so that's why you see some of these guys that aren't known for like big distance, you know, Matt Bell, Bradley Williams, Andrew Presnell, all finishing with the top 20s, good finishes, you know, throwing just a lot of shots in fairways and giving themselves a lot of chances. Let's see. Calvin Heimberg, we got to talk about him. Also, James Proctor. Surprised with James Proctor. Chris Dickerson, too. Chris Dickerson, James Proctor shot 4 under, tied for 28th. And you have Calvin Heimberg tied for 34th. What are your thoughts on those? 3 big names, you know, finishing outside the top 25 here at the first event. Any thoughts?
I think this was a kind of course that you can get on this bad wave of just not throwing the correct shot, even though you think it's the correct shot, and then it'll just bite you. Because I felt like I did the same thing. Like I felt like I was getting through the fairways and then it just wasn't working out. And when you get on that like negative side of that course, bogeys come in all shapes and sizes. There's not one hole that's like guaranteed birdie getting that one, except for like hole 3 and like hole, I think it was 14 were the only ones where you're like, okay, I got to get a birdie here.
You would like to, you would definitely like to have a look at it for sure. And again, it's the first tournament of the year, so I'm sure some people are kind of brushing off some of the rust and trying to get it figured out. Andrew Marweed finished tied for 40th. Kevin Jones tied for 44th. Scroll down some more. Mason Ford at 47th. James Conrad at 52nd. Chris Clemens, new to Discraft, he finished with tied for 52nd. I think he actually played pretty well his first round on lead card. And then looks like he kind of struggled. And then that was what we were kind of talking about. This course, it can get away from you in a hurry. You can feel like you're playing great, and all of a sudden it is gone. You got Paul McBeth tied for 52nd. Uli, you're here at tied for 63rd. Ezra Aderhold at tied for 70th. And then, yeah, some other names too. You have to scroll really far down to get to me. But yeah, there you have it. Sullivan Tipton, DNF. I did not hear about this. Any idea what happened there? All good?
Heard he broke his wrist like a few months ago. Yeah. No, in the off season. And then he had just started throwing a bunch again.
Might not be ready.
I don't think he's ready. So.
Okay. Yeah, Jake Maughan, I saw him on the putting green. He broke his hand, and now I guess he's like trying to get good left-handed because there's nothing else for him to do.
Yeah.
He was caddying for Evan Scott. It was pretty funny. He's in a cast, and his cast is like this. And so whenever Evan would throw a good shot, he would just hold his hand out, and it's just an automatic like thumbs up. Pretty good stuff there. So this was a graphic. This was thrown up by Disc Golf Fanatic, I believe, on their Facebook page. And it kind of just shows Paul's history at this course. Now, granted, it wasn't the same course, right? It did get changed. But this was a course that Paul has dominated in the past. He won it 5 years in a row, it looks like. Or I guess he played the last 5 times he's played it. So he played 2017, 2018, 2019, won it, and then played 2022, 2023 and won it. But again, it is a completely different course. And like you said, Uli, that first round, you definitely could kind of get behind the 8 ball a little bit there real quick. So I don't think there's really too much to read into people's finishes if they didn't play well at this tournament. I think, coming out of the Texas swing, if someone hasn't performed well, then I think we can start maybe jumping to some conclusions. But as of right now, I think there's nothing really to mention there. It's first term of the year.
I agree.
All right.
Yep.
Let's go over FPO here. So FPO, we had Evelina Salonen taking it down with a 5-shot lead, shooting 8 under the final round, just absolutely dominating the field the final round, winning by 5 strokes over Ella Hansen, Missy Gannon, and Holland Hanley finishing in third. So a good showing there from Discraft. Then you have Henna Blomroos at -8, Natalie Ryan at -6. And then Stacy and Owen both tied for 7th at -1. And this just kind of shows you how hard the course was, is you have Morgan Lenz and Kat Murch at +1 and +3 respectively finishing out. Oh, and Paige Pierce finishing out the top 10. So you have 3 people in the top 10, Uli, that weren't under par. So that just kind of shows you, granted, again, the fields are way different, right? We've talked about this. The MPO field is way deeper than the FPO field, but it does just show you like this course was tough because you weren't just having, if you had a bad round, you weren't shooting 2 under and the leader shooting 10 under. So big win for Evelina. This is her 4th elite major /major win for her. And I thought this was a funny meme that I saw. I don't know if this was, or if it originated from Reddit, but that's where I saw it is. It was a little Happy Gilmore meme where you have Shooter McGavin saying, Shooter McGavin being the FPO field and Evelina as Happy Gilmore at the top saying Evelina learned how to putt. And then Shooter McGavin being very sad and Evelina, aka Happy Gilmore, being like, uh-oh. I thought that was a very, very clever. This was something that I have been saying for a while, and I think a lot of people have been saying this for a while. She is the best tee to green player in FPO. Yes, you can throw Kristin Tattar in there. Kristin Tattar is not that far behind, but Evelina is the superior player when it comes to tee to green, and her putting has always been the issue with her. And apparently she went 89% C1X the final round. So she played really well.
She was 100%, and she laid up the last putt. Yeah.
Yes,
so let's
correct.
Keep it at 100. Another statistic that needs to be fixed is when you lay up a putt for the win, that's not a missed putt. I'm sorry.
You think so, though? Because when you kneel at the end of the football game, it goes down as negative yards.
It's true. Yeah.
I that's one that I just don't think you can pick and choose.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But my only concern here, Uli, this is my only concern. I'm looking at her stats. She parked 23% of the holes. And she threw circle 1 in regulation 38% of the time. So she really didn't have that many long putts inside of the circle.
Still, I mean,
So
come
did
on.
she Did she actually
Before-
increase her putting? Did her putting actually get good? Or did she just throw
Yes.
so well that she didn't need it?
We've seen her miss bullseye putts.
No, I know. Yeah,
Yes.
we definitely have. We definitely have. So that was a big one. Now, everyone's going to be saying, doesn't count until Kristin's there. So we shall see. But good win for Evelina. And I think Kristin will be coming over soon. So hopefully we'll see more battles here. All right. Disc Golf Network, PDGA Live review. Coverage was free on YouTube on Friday. Any idea what happened there? Were they having some issues and they decided to throw it up for free on Friday?
No clue.
Yeah, very, very confused by that. Not quite sure what ended up going down, but it was free for Friday. We talked about this a little bit. The PGA Live's website went down. So yes, that was terrible for the players that were on the course trying to keep scores, but also very bad for the spectators and fans trying to pay attention. Hopefully these are all just growing pains and stuff that, the PGA just kind of got a little bit too far out in their skis and they'll kind of get it figured out here. The new stat, total feet made. Did you guys use that at all in your coverage for Jomez? Because I think that's one of the best new things that has come from this.
I haven't checked out any of the stats. The first round, I didn't have stats kept. The second round, somebody blew up all my stats. The third round,
did you guys have stats for Jomez though? Did they give you stats to talk about for Jomez coverage or not really?
So Germ's in charge of a lot of that stuff. He has his iPad right in front of him, and he goes over the stats and brings them all up and stuff. Gotcha. So that's not really something that I'm there. I'm more of a color commentator.
Gotcha. So that is something to look out for. I thought that was a really cool new feature. They need to add the favorites feature. They need to get that. That was the biggest complaint I saw was there's no way to favorite your favorite players. So you're just scrolling. And hey, if I'm a person that you want to favorite, I apologize. Hand up. I am sorry for making you scroll so much this past weekend. You had to scroll a lot to find my name on the leaderboard. So if I'm sure someone from the PDGA is listening or someone that knows someone from the PDGA is listening, let them know. We want to see the favorites back. Bring back the favorites, please. We want to see that. What else we got? King Climo apparently absolutely killed it on the broadcast. Seemed like a big fan favorite. Him, Philo, and Ian, I think, were the group, and I think they did really, really well. So that was great to see. Hopefully we get to hear more King Climo. Payouts. Did you see these payouts, Uli? I know neither one of us got anything, but
I took a look before my final round because I was hoping for a little comeback.
A little top 45 sneaky. What would you think about this? First place, $10,000.
I like it. It looks good to me. Seems like if this is our first tournament, if Waco can keep this model, looks pretty good to me.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you?
My only issue is I don't know what the right number is. Maybe it's 25%. Maybe it's 15, maybe it's 30. I just know I don't like seeing that our entry fees is 50% of the payout.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. Yeah, I'm just talking about total numbers. When I look at that payout, it looks good to me.
Yeah. I that's my only thing is the distribution, the money that's coming from entry fees compared to the payout. And I get it. Most of the entry fees really is coming from sponsorships, right? Because most people on tour that have tour cards, their sponsors are paying for them to play in them. But still, I would like to see some more outside money coming, not from the entry fees.
Yeah.
And I'm also, I guess that chessboard was expensive because they have the trophy value here as $400. That's a pretty expensive trophy. Jeez. And then the other thing that people talk about, which again is something that I'm sure some people will debate in the comments, is don't ever say the FPO is not paid well. The entry fee payout for them is 245%. The entry fee payout for the MPO is 212. So 33% more in the FPO. Let's see. What else did I have on here? Okay. Did you hear about this? On the Upshot podcast, they interviewed the UDIS marketing director, Steve Hill, who also used to work for the PDGA. He said on there that that UDIS had offered the PDGA, they had offered them discounted membership with each PDGA membership at zero cost to the PDGA, but the PDGA ended up declining it. So there was a lot of chatter on that, of where it didn't even seem like there was something that that UDIS could offer the PDGA to keep them.
Yeah.
I think it's like the PDGA almost kind of had in their mind already, we're not working with UDIS, we're doing it our own self.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you caught this popped up on my feed, and this is wild. I'm not going to get too much into the politics here and whatnot, but this is something, maybe this is something that the PGA, maybe there's something behind the scenes that's going on that we don't know. But Steve Hill, the guy that went on the Upshot and talked, he posted on his Twitter, this was posted on February 24th at 5:07 a.m. He said, the one thing I will definitely not miss about UDisc Live is the transphobes on our social posts. So, where I'm at on this is, regardless of where you are on the fence, right? If you are pro or if you're anti, regardless of where you are, I don't know if you're the marketing director for a company in disc golf, if you want to like come out and, because I think a lot of people that are anti having transgenders play an FPO kind of felt attacked and being like, just because I don't agree with you doesn't make me a transphobe. And so I think, I don't know. I think that statement is one that can potentially hurt your business a little bit by coming out and saying something like that. It's just my take on it.
No, it for sure can. I mean, you have to be careful with when you own big businesses, you got to be careful with what you say, because you're selling a product to all kinds of different people with all kinds of different beliefs. And it's, I mean, that's just something you have to be careful with. I mean, we have to be careful with it. Everybody does.
Yeah. Edwin Stats just hit us with another good one. Evelina's average putt made was 9 feet 4 inches. Second lowest out of the top 10. So she wasn't, so it doesn't look like she was drilling putts all over the place.
I saw her make some putts, man.
Someone also said that they might have saw Jeff Springs say that they were keeping the first round free on YouTube. That's news to me, because everything I saw when it came out said that everything was behind the paywall. So unless I misread that, I thought
maybe they switched it. Did a little switch and swoop.
Maybe they heard. All right.
What about this?
Go for it.
Wait, what about this? How do you feel about everybody getting, well, not everybody, but a bunch of people getting stroked for not showing up on time?
Oh, a bunch of people did end up getting stroked? I would have gotten stroked. I would have gotten stroked the first round. Thomas Gilbert saved me, because he said, hey, if you're not there 5 minutes before your round, you get stroked. I would have definitely showed up like 4 minutes before my tee time.
I was talking to Austin Turner. He said 2 people got stroked on his card. Second round.
Yeah. When was that announced? Was there like an email or something that got sent out?
Yeah, you got an email. Yeah, you got an email.
Really? I never
How do
email.
you feel about that? I'll say how I feel about it.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, that's perfect, because I hate it.
Okay. Why do you hate it?
I hate it. I think that you have a time to get there to do what you do professionally, and for them to want you to get there early so that they can tell you about new rules and blah, 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 they can send it in an email, just like they decided to stroke us. No, listen, they decide to stroke you.
I see what you're saying.
They send an email for that, right? And then these people get strokes because they didn't read the email. That means that they're putting a precedence on, hey, this is an email that you have to read. If you don't read this email, you're getting stroked. Okay, so they send us out there. I'm saying, if that's the case, then you can send us the email of what's changing about the course. It should be up to me to read it, and then I show up at my tee time. But for me to get there 5 minutes before my actual tee time, that's not my tee time.
Should it be 2 minutes then? Because you have to get a scorecard. You have to get a scorecard. You have to know whose order. There is a little bit of stuff that needs to be done. You can't have everyone show up at 12 o'clock. If your tee time's at 12 o'clock, you can't have all 4 people show up at 12 o'clock because you're not teeing off until 12:01.
I believe, for my opinion, is you should be able to show up 2 seconds before your time to throw, and you should be able to throw and not get penalized for that. If you want to take your time doing whatever it is, that's your time. It's my job to show up on work on time. If they want you there 5 minutes early, then make my tee time 5 minutes early. And then it's up to them to tell me those things. But
so you're saying nothing should happen before you throw.
It's not a real tee time.
No, I'm saying like you should be able to, if everyone showed up at 12 o'clock, you're basically saying remove all the stuff that you have right now before the tee time, which is requiring us to get there early because, the starter wants to talk for 2 minutes about this, and this, and this. They want to do, you're saying remove all of that so people can literally just show up. And
if you don't show up on time, you get stroked.
Okay.
But
I could be okay with that.
I'm just saying, I see this in sports in general. Like this, I think it was just last weekend. And Tom Kim.
Yeah, he was running to his tee time.
He's running to his tee time. And I got a lot of pushback for people that I've talked about this too, and I'm gonna get more, I'm sure. But they were saying that it looks unprofessional. That's silly to me. Like, Kim's running to his tee time and everybody's rooting him on like, haha, this is funny. It doesn't happen all the time. And I've done this too, to where they're calling my name like, hey, you need to get there. And I'm running to the thing. Fans aren't being like, oh, look at this unprofessional guy showing up late to his tee time. Yeah. Like, no, I was just late. Like, things happen in life.
Gotta go to the bathroom. Stuff happens for sure.
This happened one time. I was at the GBO. I slept through. I woke up. I had 6 minutes to get to my tee time from my hotel at GBO. I didn't have a car. I ran outside. I got dressed real quick, ran outside with my bag. Somebody was driving in a truck. I waved him down. I paid him $20 to take me to the country club. I got out of the car and I ran up, and I was 2 minutes before my tee time, and I got to play the hole. I didn't get to practice or whatever, but I made it to my tee time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they want us, I think, if you want us to show up at that time, it's not my tee time, then make it 5 minutes earlier. That's all you have to do. Instead of me being 10:40, I'm actually 10:35. I get there. That's part of my thing. That's when I'm supposed to show up. But they're making it sound like, no, you have to show up 5 minutes before your tee time. So now you essentially have 2 times you have to show up and do your thing. And then I got mixed messages as well. They said, okay, you can show up and then you can leave. You can check in and then leave.
That's wild.
But that's not what the rule says. So somebody was telling people they could do this, but what it says is you have to show up and you have to be present the whole 5 minutes. So people were then leaving, and I even asked, because I was a little bit late one of the times, and I'm like, no, I gotta get down there. I'm gonna get stroked. I can't sign your disc. So I checked in. I'm like, hey, can I go sign a couple discs? Because people were chasing me down. They're like, yes. I left. Technically, I'm not allowed to do that. So there's a lot of like stuff that kind of goes into this where I'm not a big fan.
I see what you're saying. I think there need to be some sort of and what you're saying is you just wish that they were more stingent on tee times and be like, hey, if you're not there by your tee time, you're getting stroked, which I think they've been kind of lenient on that in the past.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is right, to where my thing, it would just be, I don't know what the right way of doing it is, but 5 minutes is too much. I'll say that 5 minutes is too much.
It's a long time. I don't mind it. This is what I'm saying. I don't mind it. I'm there early. I understand it's a rule. I play by the rules. I'm going to get there early. It's fine. I put it in my thing. I put an alarm 10 minutes before, the 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be there for my tee time. But I just think the fact that they emailed and then stroked people because they didn't read the email tells me that they can send the rules before the whole thing happens, and we don't have to be there 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. What do you guys like? Do you guys like seeing people run up to their tee time? Maybe that's a fun thing for fans. Maybe fans like seeing that sometimes.
Sometimes it happens. What I'm saying is that people are saying that it's totally unprofessional, and it's like, hey, sometimes you're late to work, dude. It happens. Yeah. Sometimes you're late to work. Is it unprofessional? Yeah, but sometimes that happens. It's not like you're
sometimes
trying to be.
People are unprofessional. You can't be professional 24/7. Impossible.
And I don't feel like it's like a big deal to me. I don't like look at somebody and be like, oh, there are some people who are late to a lot of things, and you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
If it's a continual thing, then maybe. But once in a blue moon, I don't think you can get too upset about it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something else that's unprofessional. The wild story of the week here. I first stepped on a course for 9 holes with a literal Frisbee in Mansfield, Ohio in 2019. By late 2021, I had truly discovered disc golf and quickly fell in love with it. I eventually exposed many friends and others around me to the sport. It wasn't long before I had a fairly regular group that attempted to get out to play about once a week. We were fortunate to have multiple courses close to home. Our Clear Fork Reservoir course had a nice mix of wooded technical holes, along with holes that were semi-open in the picnic areas with many trees which are very spread out. We came up onto hole 14 to find many very atypical obstacles. The Amish often frequent the reservoir to fish. I've often seen 1 to 2 horses tied up near basket 14. However, today there were approximately 10 plus horses tied up, and they were all around the basket. We contemplated skipping the hole as we didn't want to harm any animals, nor get kicked in the process of play. After a short discussion, we decided to play the hole and do our best to play short of the horses. Oh gosh. My drive made it down the narrow wooded fairway and landed near the head of the standing horse at approximately the edge of circle 1. My friend worked his way down and ultimately ended up near the same horse. As we approached, the horse moved slightly, which allowed us to get our disc without changing our lie. We did something we had never done before in disc golf, and most have probably never experienced. My best shot at a putt was to throw between the legs under the belly of the horse. My friend opted to go over from his lie. I was very close to hitting my putt. Ultimately, we both missed. No animals or humans were hurt in the process. Another memorable disc golf experience. Best of luck to you guys this year. I enjoy listening to guys on Tour Life, watching Uli on Jomez and Brodie's doubles matches with Ezra. I had the privilege of meeting both of you at our first Pro Tour event in Kentucky 2023. Congratulations to you and your wife, Paul. Children are such a blessing. God bless Wes Tomlinson. Wow. Throwing between the legs of a horse. Gotta have balls hilarious. To do that one.
Yeah, you do.
If you have a wild story, send it in to us. We want to hear it. WildStoryTour@gmail.com. Send in your wild story to our intern, David, WildStoryTour@gmail.com. All right, we ready for some EDWIN stats here, Uli?
I was going to say, I once almost got stomped out by a horse.
Wait, how so?
Golf store. This is a crazy story.
At a disc golf store?
No, it's a disc golf story. I'm going to just say this is
okay.
This is like this is one of my wild stories on tour. I feel like it's a good time for it. I was way back in the day. I was traveling with my friend Corey Sharp and Josh Rowling. We were going from Utah to Idaho to play the Idaho State Championships. Now on this track, it is a long ways of nothing, just fields both sides. Right? It was hot. The way I remember it was a hot day and I was trying to roll down my window, but my best friend Corey at the time wouldn't let me roll down the window. So we're going at it. I'm pissed. He's making fun of me and I'm actually getting mad because I'm like, you're like little brothers at the time.
Yeah.
Like you just have a little tussles. I got so mad. I'm like, pull the car over. I'm getting out. He's like, all right. So they're laughing at me. They pull over and I'm like pissed. We're in the middle of nowhere. I get out of the car. And I walk through this fence and I'm like, I'll find my own way to freaking Idaho. I go through like this little fence and I like sneak under there and there's like a little tree and I like just sit there. I'm like just fuming, right? And I look in this field and like probably like 200 yards away, I see like a few horses and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm sitting here and all of a sudden I see this horse and it starts doing the old, and it's like doing this. I'm like, wait, what the heck is going on with this thing? Is he gonna like come get me? I'm like, my hair's like stick up on my back, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, huh. And then sure enough, this thing starts charging me, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a big old horse. And I'm like, oh no. So I get up, I start running, and I can hear this thing gaining on me. And I'm running down the fence line because it's a barbed wire fence. And I'm trying to find a place where I can actually get under there quickly. Because if I have to like negotiate my way through this thing, I'm going to get stomped. And it's like right here. I can hear the horse. So I go to jump the fence in like one leap. I found like a spot and I go to jump it because there's no barbed wire. I hit the thing and it's an electric fence, dude.
Oh,
and I
it
go,
shocks you?
boom! And it throws me back on my back, and I can hear the horse like right on me,
gosh.
right? And I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't think, you're paralyzed. And so I roll. I'm like rolling because that's all I can do. And I like roll underneath the fence. And as I do that, the horse is like right there digging with his hooves, like at the thing, just pissed. And I'm sitting there, can't breathe. And I look over as I'm laying down, and Josh and Corey are sitting there just bawling, laughing at me.
Watching the whole thing?
Watching the whole thing. And I like get up and I go over there and get in the car, and I'm like, don't say anything. We drive the rest of the way to Idaho. But that was like one of the craziest stories ever, because I'll never forget. Dude, I hit the thing and boom, electric.
Why is it that like some of the funniest things are like near-death experiences? Because
total, I could have died for sure.
They're all laughing, but if you would have gotten stomped out and died, like you're not laughing anymore. But it's like that wasn't that far off from happening. And it's crazy how that near-death experience can just be becoming so hilariously funny. And you're like, well, yeah, I could have died though. Like legitimately could have died.
For real. But it was just so funny because it was over him not rolling down we're just two teenagers just mad as heck at each other.
Oh, well, that is good stuff. All right, let's jump into some EDWIN stats here. We got some good ones here. So the first one is going to be our 2024 MPOChess.com event recap. Compared to 2023 elite major events, the Chess.com Invitational played the third hardest in terms of average score, plus 2.3. Something to note, I think one of the reasons why it is a hard course. It is a difficult course. But one of the reasons why I do think it played hard as far as average score goes is it wasn't a super strong field, in the sense we did have a lot of the top players there, but a lot of good players didn't come to this event because it's just one event in Florida, and then we have a week off and then Waco. So I think a lot of people didn't want to fly down and play this event. So that's something to consider a little bit when it comes to how hard this course played based off of the average score. The distance was 10,281 feet. So over 10,000 feet. No, it wasn't a short course. And that was one thing I really liked about the course too, Uli. We didn't have any like dinking par threes.
No.
There wasn't like, oh, you got to throw this super technical 215-foot shot. So this was right in between event average score to par. The only courses that really played harder than this was PCS Open and Ledgestone Open. The easiest holes on this course were hole 13 and hole 15, which is the par 5, makes sense. The hardest holes, we talked about it, not surprised. Hole 4 and hole 17 were the hardest holes. Not surprised there.
No.
AB won by one stroke after leading by 4 with 2 holes to play. While he didn't lead in any key statistics, he was top 10 in 5 out of the 8. This is AB's first Elite Series win. This was his 63rd. Oh, so it was even better than I thought. So this was his 63rd attempt, or 63rd event since 2019. His first podium since finishing at World second place last year. He recorded his third best Circle 2 putting event, 38.5%. Wow. He's putting really, really well. And lowest OB rate since 2023 Champions Cup at 5.6. But again, a lot of that has to do with this course just not having that much OB. Some key numbers here. -18. That was AB's winning score at the chess.com versus -28 winning average in 2023. That just kind of shows you how much harder this course was playing versus some of the other courses. 385 was the longest throw in. New stat tracked by the PDGA. That's by Eric Oakley. Got an eagle on hole 14, round 2. Shout out to Eric Oakley. There you go. Let's see. Paul McBeth had one of the worst finishes of his career. Aaron Gossage nearly had his first win, and 2 Discmania players excelled. You have Paul McBeth finishing 52nd place, +1. Worst finish since 2019 USCGC, where he ranked 69th in C1 green in regulation. So he just wasn't throwing the disc that well this tournament, it looks like. Only getting into green regulation 22%, which is really low for him. Gooseman, we already mentioned, had the hot round of the tournament at -8. If he had matched AB's Circle 1 putting, he would have won by 1 stroke. That's a sick stat. Wow. So if he would have putted a little bit better from Circle 1, he would have beat AB by 1. Gannon Burr, first round with Discmania, led the event in scramble percentage, 93.8%.
It's really good.
Did he just not get up and down once?
Yeah.
That's insane. One of only 3 players without any OB strokes. Nicholas led the tournament in birdie rate percentage, 46.3%. What the flip? He was birdied half the holes out there? That's insane. I didn't even realize that. He finished second in fairway hits, 77.1%, only behind Kyle Klein. Kyle Klein throwing the disc well. Wow. All right, this is the one that I think everyone's going to love right here. Ready for this?
Yeah.
We've got the 2024 Manufacturer Cup, baby. This is what the people want. So this is how we're doing it. Only 6 manufacturers scored points for finishing in the top 10. Discraft scored the most points with 40. Dynamic Discmania had the most players in the top 10, 3 each. MVP, Innova, Disc Golf, DGA had 0 players in the top 10. So what we're doing, it looks like, is we're awarding 25 points for first place, 18 points for second, 15 points for third, and then it goes down by 3, 12 points, 10 points for fifth, and then what is that? That would be 1 point for 10th and 2 points for 9th, and then maybe goes 2 points. Yeah, it probably goes to 8, 6, and 4, I'm guessing. So that's the point structure. So after one tournament, you have Discraft in the lead with 40 points, Dynamic Disc second place with 25, Discmania 23, and then Prodigy and Westside both with 6. I love this.
I think this is going to be fun.
So what Edwin is saying is he's using this Formula One scoring system. So this is exactly what the Formula One does. So pretty cool stuff here. We'll keep this going. I think people are going to like this a lot. If you guys like the Manufacturer Cup statistics, let us know in the comments section and hit us with the Edwin stats in the comments as always. All right, let's get to some listener questions and we'll finish it out here. We'll kind of roll through some of these. We'll save that one for next week because that's not time sensitive. Okay, Tim Allen wants to know, do either of you get a Pro Level Disc Golf Network subscription for free as a perk of being on tour? I would assume Paul does as a Jomez crew member, but I'm curious how that works for both of you or if you have to pay for it. So Tim, if you're a tour card holder, you just send in your email and you get a free subscription. And I think they also give us 2 free ones as well, 3. So you get 1 for yourself and then 3 for family and friends. So it's a pretty nice perk for sure.
It's very nice. Yes.
Al wants to know, for all the people who weren't at Throw Down the Mountain, what was up with the Haley King stuff? A lot of rampant and hilarious speculation on Reddit, but nothing with any substance to it as far as I can tell. There was another question too that said, like, this was Alejandro. He said, who peed on the course as seen on Instagram? Haley King DNF. So a lot of confusion here. So Haley King posted this on her Instagram. It says, finally, I hate to have to say this, but here we are. If you are seen urinating somewhere in the neighbor's yard, you will receive a tournament warning, and a second offense will subject a player to disqualification. And she said in her Instagram story, should be an automatic DQ with like this at PDGA. So I think some people were thinking she might have like got disqualified for being the person that did this. This was, I believe, an email that we got sent by the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So she copied the text from the email, posted it on her story, and then I think she was saying it should just be an automatic disqualification. There should be no warning. She wasn't the one. She wasn't doing this. Yes, I think there was some confusion there. And for those that are wondering what the heck's going on here, when we're out in the course and there's no bathrooms, you're going to have people go in the woods and go to the bathroom. You're just going to have to. The problem with this tournament was the porta potties were pretty far away from the practice facility. And there were woods just like kind of behind where we were warming up and practicing. And so I think people were using the bathroom in those woods, which was backed up to someone's yard.
Property.
Yes, without really realizing that. And I think that person has had issues with the disc golf course being right next to their property. So they already are looking for something to complain about. So I think that's what this was all about. So it's really kind of a non-issue. I don't know why Haley King DNF. Someone did say there was a comment that said that they watched her and it looked like she messed up her knee again, is what.
Yeah, I believe she fell and hit her knee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would do it. Cameron wants to know, now that the Banger Zone GT has been approved, what will happen to the Ringer Zone GT? It's become a staple in my bag, and if it is unapproved, could I be penalized in a tournament for using it? Yes, 100%. If you use an unapproved PDGA disc, someone could penalize you by calling you out. Good news for you, both the Banger Zone GT and the Ringer Zone GT are both approved. So you are good to go, brother. Dark and Stormy, what is the concern level with Calvin right now? Putter looked off in round 1 and just didn't seem to have it for the most of the weekend. He hasn't finished this low since 2022 DMC. I heard he's possibly dealing with an injury, but are you concerned from last year's Player of the Year after a 34th place finish? So I actually texted him to see if there was any sort of injury. I don't know if he's traveling right now. He hasn't gotten back to me. But that's what I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming something is tweaked.
My level of concern is 0. I was going to say 5%, but
I was going to say maybe like a 0.5%. I'm not again.
Yeah, if it's a bad injury, that's where the 5% is. But if not, then people play bad sometimes. It's okay.
Here's a good one for you, Uli. Jason wants to know, how did the pros walk hole to hole? Were there walkway paths? Some of the lines to tee to green looked impossible.
Yeah, there were nice little walk paths for us. I know that a lot of people went out there. There was a guy who made something like 90 steps.
Oh, yes. I met that guy. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, he made like 90 steps himself to make it easier for us to get up and down spots, which was huge. But I didn't have an issue with the walking.
Something I see a lot of times with course design is people want to try to put tee pads right next to baskets and eliminate the walking between holes. I think that's a bad idea. I think if there is a tee that is a 30-second walk away from a basket and it's going to give you the best hole, that's what you should do. And I think that's what this course did. There were some holes that you had to walk 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds at the most, which is far for a lot of people because they're so used to tapping out and then walking like 10 seconds to the next tee pad. But again, if you're walking to get to make a hole better, I think that makes a whole lot of sense for me. All right. Let's see. Okay, custom course maps. I don't think this person's biased with their question. Why won't the Disc Golf Pro Tour maps show elevation when it's all anyone at Olympus is talking about? And they have this graphic here, Uli, of one of the holes where I think this is hole 18. So you can see how you're throwing from super high up down. and then it's a flat area, and then you're going up again. I don't have an answer. I think this would be very useful for them to use in Jomez too.
Yeah, I like that.
For you guys to have this to really show.
Did
I don't
you
know why they're not using that.
Fun fact, did you know that like Simon has parked that hole before?
Yeah, I could see it happening. It's an insane shot, but I could totally see it happening. They told me though it happened a while ago because
The ceiling, yeah.
That is something that probably needs to get trimmed up because it was a little bit like one of those mini golf holes where you have an obstacle. Like this Spanish moss was like floating in the wind, and I was like, how pissed would you be if you threw and like the Spanish moss like flew into your disc? So yeah, I don't think it was probably that possible with the way the ceiling is now, but no. I think AB, Eagle, Simon, I think there's probably a handful of guys that could probably do it. But he did it in a tournament, right? Which is even crazier. Just a living legend. Okay. The legend continues. All right, Tennessee 2's disc golf. This guy actually posted a lot of cool stuff for us. A lot of good questions. I've recognized his Twitter handle. Will player designed / redesigned layouts be the future of Disc Golf Pro Tour? Seems like they've been extremely fair in difficulty for MPO in recent years. Yes, I think right now we have some good disc golf designers, but I think a lot of the pros, and maybe it's not even necessarily they are the ones designing it, but maybe like more consultation. More bringing them in, kind of like what they did for Champions Cup with you guys, right? Like Bushnell brought you guys in, or was that Bushnell or PDGA? Who?
It was the PDGA.
Okay, but Bushnell was
Bushnell
involved.
Working together, yeah.
Yeah, I think I can see that happening more, right?
Yeah,
because
the
courses that have a player's name behind it typically be really good. The only other person, Nate Heinel does a pretty decent job on the courses, and then the other one is oh shoot, what's the OTB guy's name? I blanked on it. Oh man, what's that guy's name? Scott Clark. No, that's not it. Someone help me in chat. Oh gosh, how am I forgetting that?
I like UC Maresma's design.
Yeah, European Open, solid. That's the only course I think I've played. Shoot, what is his name? It's like a 3 or 4 letter name. It'll pop in my head here in a second. I'm getting too old. But 36, not 37. I always had it. Oh my gosh, it almost came to me. Okay. But he does a really good job out at OTB. Okay, let's see. What else? Oh, Cameron asked Brodie, why, this is our last question. This is a fitting one. Brodie, why not DNF and make up some dumb excuse like others have in the past? What drives you personally to finish? So that's something I've talked about. I've harped so much about. I just don't have any respect for people that DNF, fake injury, or say something really silly, make excuses for why they played bad or anything like that. If you can finish the tournament, you should finish the tournament. I was able to meet a whole lot of people after my round on honestly every round, but round 3, Sunday, there was a lot more people out on the course. So I stuck around for 15 or 20 minutes and got to meet a lot of people. If I would have DNF'd, that wouldn't have been the case. And honestly, I said the most fun I had was throwing a rock at Tim Barham's disc on hole 15 and trying getting out of the tree. But probably the most memorable moment would probably be like me interacting with the fans, because even though I didn't want to be there, I didn't want to play, I didn't enjoy being there, which was a real struggle for me mentally to try to figure that out. It still was very fun and very cool to meet people and hear their stories of how they got into disc golf or where they came from and all that. So I always appreciate meeting the fans, because with how my career has gone, I think there's a lot of people like AB, for example. He's been so successful in disc golf that like to his fans are kind of just like icing on the cake, if you will. I for me, like my start of my career and like where I've made my money and stuff have been because of the fans. Like it wasn't like I was making a crazy amount of money because I was really good at ultimate frisbee. It was because of the videos I was making and the people watching them. So I've always been very appreciative of the support that I've gotten. So to me, that's always my favorite part, or at least that was my favorite part of doing that. And I would have not been able to, do that if I DNF. So there you have it. All right. Tour Life crew. I think we have some new additions. So shout out to Jake Smallcomb. Shout out to, Frajar Elfic says, Silas, can you get this to Brodie after the show? I don't know what that means. Oh, he said, I discovered disc golf because of Brodie. Now I watch most tournaments and follow other players. I know I'm not the only one. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you for the $2 or €2 and also becoming a member of the Tour Life crew. We appreciate you. I think there was a couple other people. I don't know if it goes back that far, but all new members of the Tour Life crew, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Merch update. Silas, we got a merch update numbers.
Oh, of course we do. So we got Grip Locked with 177.
Ooh, 23
They're
away
falling
from
behind.
200 number.
And Tour Life is at 208. We officially surpassed the 200 mark.
Over 200.
Nice job.
Great work.
I like that.
Yuli's pump-up speech worked a couple weeks ago. If you're interested, I'm wearing right now the Uli horse hat. I just got confirmation that we have patches coming soon, which will be really sick. Can't wait to get some sick Tour Life, some Uli horse patches. I think we're working on discs as well. So if you're interested in that, go over foundationdisc.com. Check it out. Also, Uli, are you still doing your discount stuff?
I am. Yeah. We still got the discount going over at my site. I mean, we have sold out of a couple of the things, but we still have discs over there that are on a big time discount. So like $15 a disc, man, which is kind of crazy.
Can't beat that.
Some merch as well, which is good.
Nice. Spotify, we're at 980. All of our Spotify listeners out there, we are 20 reviews away from 1,000. Let's go. And Apple Podcasts pulling up the rear as always, 263. We do appreciate our Apple Podcast listeners, even though they are pulling in the rear for the review list. But hey, good show. We haven't had a long one in a while. I kind of figured it was going to be a long one. I was very excited to talk to AB tonight because I think he's got to be one of the more interesting guys on tour with just his trajectory, his journey of came in this young phenom. People were calling him literally, what were they calling him? What was the, like they were calling like were they saying Paul McBeth 2.0? Is that what they were calling him? Or
yeah, he was getting compared to Paul McBeth all the time.
Yeah. And so he came in with all these expectations, has put himself in a position to win multiple times, has struggled to finally get over the finish line, and in the very first tournament of 2024 already gets the monkey off his back. And it could this tour is going to get really, really interesting fast because there are more and more killers being created every week. Because that was really his only thing, is like he just didn't know how to win.
Yep.
And now he does. And so it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen now?
Well, what's scary is he's won at every single level. So he's learned how to win at every single level now. He won the Junior World Championships young. He won the Amateur World Championships at 14 years old, I think. That's crazy.
Jeez.
I think he was 14 when he won the Amateur World Championships. And now, took him a while, but he got it done.
Yeah. It's very, very exciting. And FPO, Evelina winning, honestly, I like seeing it because I think out of all the FPO players, she has the best chance to close the gap between her and Kristin just because of her throwing skills. And I think for all of our sake, we would love to see a little bit more parity in the FPO.
Yeah.
It's fun watching the dominance for sure.
Yeah.
But we want to see the person have to like overcome stuff. And I think that's what we were missing last year, is like Kristin was just kind of walking to the finish line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, did I miss anything, boys? Silas, Uli, anything did I miss?
Nope.
I don't think you did.
All
I
right.
did just get confirmation that my wife,
Oh, boy.
we actually got our gender revealed today, and she let people know, and I didn't want to like spill the beans on Tour Life, but I'm having a baby girl. So I'm super stoked, man. Today was awesome. We went into ultrasound and we got to see the whole thing, and it was like, you know, the real deal. It even had the hiccup. She even had the hiccup, so you saw it move and stuff. So today was a really big day for me, and I'm super stoked. I was wanting a girl, she was wanting a boy, and so thank God. Yeah.
So when is the process of like getting the room set up and all, now that you know?
Oh, she's gonna be on it, dude. She's gonna be on it. I think that was the first. Once she knew, she'll be soon. You know, she's actually with me right now. She'll go home on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and then I'm sure she'll be Amazoning it up.
Oh, geez.
I'm super excited.
Yeah,
you know, because when you
just
first
gonna be doing the ding, 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 ding,
for
ding.
real, when you first see it, it's just like a little peanut. You know what I mean? And it's not as real. And now you get to see it has feet and arms and everything. And it, like I said, it started hiccuping, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh man. So that was some good news I got
all
today.
Things good too, all healthy, everything.
Yeah. Apparently when it has
awesome,
hiccups, it shows that it's actually breathing really well and everything's on point. The heart rate was perfect. So
Can you feel the kick too?
She said she can't feel the kick because I mean she was moving in there, man. She, like I said, she had the hiccups. She was twirling around and she's putting on a show for sure. It was cool.
So she has to get probably a little bit bigger before you can start feeling kicking.
I think
that's
so.
That's gonna be weird, dude.
I know. That's
gonna be so
bizarre.
weird the first time you feel that. Oh my gosh, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I know everyone's showing the love and you know, spreading the good wishes and everything your way. So that's freaking awesome news for you guys. Yeah. That's very cool.
So cool.
And,
so cool.
Good luck this weekend too. Have fun out there, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I appreciate it, Brodie.
I'll see you down in Texas, brother.
You got it.